Hey, what's up? It's your girl Tamara, aka Girl from Harlem.
And what's good, everybody? This is Ray Daniels, aka the Culture Referee.
And this is the Guy Show.
And today we I feel like I manifested this guy into my life. I'm not lying to y'all. I watched him do an interview and I was like, man, I want to talk to him because he was just so genuine and you could just tell. And I like talking to purists. And I could tell that at the core of who he was, he's a purist. And I wanted to talk to him. And then literally a day later, I'm in my office and he just walks by my office.
No way.
Not like walk outside my office, but like by my office door right there. So I'm like, that's right. I just was looking at him. So I go in the room, I'm like, bro, and I want to meet you. He was like, yo, whatever, let's do it. He lived here and everything. So he was like, yo, let's do something. We've been texting, just like on some checking in. And I hit him and I was like, he was like, bro, if you need something, let me know. I said, I want to interview you.
Right.
He was like, done. I want to say that he is the first producer to have a hit song that he produced named after him.
Crazy, right? That's crazy.
Super Brandon.
Yeah, smart.
First producer to have a hit song named after him, and one of my favorite producers. I love his sounds. I'm just a fan of him as a person. So everybody give it up for the good brother Rockwidler.
Woo!
Super producer, legendary producer,
What's happening?
legendary
What's
producer, and he's on the God Show. So let's get to it, Tamara. Let's go.
All right, thank you for being here. We appreciate you making some time for us. So I'm not gonna bring up how you're from New York. I'm gonna skip over that. But you are a super producer, right? So the game's changed so much.
What's the difference?
Because we got producers.
No, I can tell you. I
right?
leave it to me.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so to me, a super producer to me is someone who has the accolades to back up their ability to do their job. A super producer changes and produces the room. But they also have made hits, so that's how they're producing the room for the hit. So you are a super producer, my brother.
Right.
Oh man, that's amazing.
And you got to receive that.
Receive it. Let's get
I'm
it.
in the age of gratitude right now, so
We all, by the way, should be at the age of gratitude as humans. We all, being grateful is the quickest way to your greatness.
Yeah.
That was a good one. Grateful is the quickest way to great.
We admired those records back in the days. You know what I'm saying? I'm a 70s baby, so I think I probably looked through a lot more vinyl than most people. But the records, that's what it was. That was the window to the world. It's the stereo, which I'm also telling my age too, but the record player, which was also something that had this majestic thing to it, different than anything else in the house. Of course, the kitchen had its majestic thing because you ate from it, and then, the TV had something because you dreamed through it, but then the speakers and the music had something else because with this type of vibration coming through the speaker, I get to acknowledge it now much different now than I did when I was young because I was older. But when you're young and you have something that you admire, and I admired the stereo with the speakers, you know what I'm saying? It was just something majestic coming out of there when you listen to Stevie Wonder, when you listen to Quincy Jones, when you listen to Earth, Wind, and Fire, when you listen to, anybody else of that was in those crates. And you never would have thought that you would be a part of what was going on through that speaker.
I know how that feels. I love that.
Yeah.
I like the way you look at it. Can you put the mic a little closer?
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah.
Closer? Okay. Yeah, but it has more of a admiration now, knowing that I was a part of that. You know what I'm saying? You're a part of that. What's happening? You know what I'm saying? So I'm very grateful of that. So when the super producer accolade and everything, I take all of that in because I never thought that I would ever be a part of that crate.
Well, you definitely are. So how has the game changed from the beginning? What's the biggest difference? So you say you came in this around the 70s, right? So
you say it's the 70s baby.
70s babies, right? So you've seen music completely change and hip hop and the evolution of it. What do you think is the biggest difference from where you entered the game into where it is now?
Age, because I feel like what we didn't have as much technology and we didn't have as much gear and hardware and software and stuff to actually make the music, and we didn't have the technology to actually where you can see the music. You know what I'm saying? I feel like you can see sounds now, and you can see artists evolve into much more than what we had. We had Gladys Knight at my age, but then we have Beyonce at these guys' age. And Beyonce can be much more of what Gladys was because of technology, because of the things that allow her to be the stages, the shows, Coachella, all these big type of things. The artists back then didn't have that quality. You know what I'm saying? So I guess the quality of technology and how music has brought it to this level, I think has a lot to do with making the artist much more. And I think having the crowd of now being much more accessible.
Being accessible,
to the artist, Instagram, social media, all types of things. You know what I'm saying? You can actually talk to the artist. We never thought that we could ever talk to the artist from back then.
Imagine
You know what I'm saying?
DMing
If you mess around and catch a
Michael
nice,
Jackson.
you catch an artist just going live at that first 15 minutes, and you say something like, "Oh, I love your work," and she's like, "Oh, thank you so much."
Right,
like,
crazy.
we didn't have that back then.
Crazy.
Imagine MJ live.
I'm like, I always tell people, I'm like, here's the difference. Like, she might not answer, but anybody in this room can send Oprah Winfrey a message.
Yeah.
Like you don't need an email. You can literally just send her a message. And if you don't want to do it privately, you can literally make a big deal. Like, Oprah's my dream mentor. Give me 1 million retweets. And you know what I mean? You could do a call to action. So there's so many ways to activate people right now.
I'm going to be honest with you. Nicole Murphy, I caught her like in her first 5 minutes of her live, and I was like, listen, just say hi. That's all you have to do.
Please.
Is wink and say hi. And in the comments, it was like, whoop, LOL, hi. And I was like, all right, we got married.
As far as I'm concerned.
So you like Nicole Murphy? That's your girl. That's your type.
It's not that I like her. It's just that, you know,
we want to we put stuff in the air, man. I manifested you to come here.
No, you know,
let's put it in the air.
All right, so audience, I know I'm not the only person that does this, but there are people that we are following, that we like, that we say hi to every morning.
I love them.
I guess, and you know,
Nicole Murphy, if you want to come,
social media has changed the whole way you communicate with women. So there are some people that I do follow and I say hi to, and I just say good morning to.
Isn't he sincere?
There are some people that I do look at the phone and say good morning to. You know, because sometimes they're close to the phone, so it feels like you're looking at them. So I do say good morning. And sometimes that good morning is good.
Yes.
And I don't have to worry about the rest of the day because I said good morning to Nicole Murphy.
Right. And everybody else could.
You know, and being that she replied that one time, we're together forever.
Yeah.
So, you know.
It's definitely official.
So we friends now. Like, we friends.
No, they're in
a way.
relationship.
We're friends. I know when she sees that Rockwidler music in the check, I know she's just like, okay, I've said something to him before, so that energy that she could actually look and say, I've said something to him before. Matrimony. We're good. So I'm good at that.
So I want to.
It also keeps me off the street too, so I don't have to be running around with these scallywags around here. You know what I'm saying?
So we about to we usually get into like questions, and I feel like you're such a legend that I just have to ask you. And you're from Queens.
Yes.
Queens gets the money, right? We know that. Just curious, what borough in New York City has created more stars and superstars? And you know what I would like to add to that? What I want to add to that. I want to add, because we was talking music stars, but I want to speak about stars, period. Like, just stars, because I don't know.
Movie stars. And
just stars, period. Like, Mike Tyson is from Brooklyn.
I know that.
Yeah, Michael Jordan is from Brooklyn.
I did not know that.
He moved to North Carolina, but Michael Jordan was born in Brooklyn. He's from Brooklyn.
Like, he was playing on the black tops.
I have Michael Jordan basketball cards. Every card where it says where he's from is Brooklyn. So I'm asking you, being you a Queens guy, what borough has produced more stars or superstars in your opinion?
It's a battle. Hold on.
Oh, he about to shut somebody down.
It's a battle between Queens and Brooklyn.
Yeah, definitely.
But then Bronx will surprise you as far as with the early hip hop as well. But I think the growth and where it is and what it is, Brooklyn and Queens.
But I'm glad you just did that. Now I'm gonna ask you out of the two, because I want you to tell me which one you think has produced more stars.
Feeling myself, I'm going to be like Queens. I'm going to say
that's
Queens.
what I wanted.
Queens, of course. Queens.
50 Cent.
Yes.
Ron Artest.
Yes.
Run DMC, LL Cool J.
Yes.
Nicki Minaj.
Ja Rule.
Irv Gotti, Steve Stout.
Did you say Donald Trump?
Russell Simmons.
Yeah.
Like
like all different brands of the game, of what just
Yeah,
came
when you
in.
look at
Isn't
it,
Queens like the biggest borough or something? They better do something with them people.
I don't know.
Oh, I'm
And
sorry.
a Tribe Called
I'm making up
Quest,
stuff.
Tribe
Kid
Called
and
Quest,
Play,
yes, Kid and Play,
Salt and Pepper,
Salt and Pepper.
Mob
I
Deep,
mean, iconic, very iconic artists.
You,
Then, yeah.
Right, put
Come
you
on,
in there.
come
Come
on,
on
like-
now.
I mean, all right. I mean,
Buster's from Long Island,
Buster's from Long Island.
and Public Enemy's from Long Island.
Public
Yeah, that's what they
Island.
got.
But
They got
still, the iconic people still came from Queens. You know?
I just wanted to hear Queens guy say Queens got the money.
I never used to.
You gotta take
I always
that
thought
from-
it was Brooklyn for a while, but then like we had this argument the other day, and when you see it on paper,
Yeah, when you see it on paper.
it's
LL
mind
Cool J,
blowing.
the
Yeah,
first rap,
like,
the first
Yeah.
rap superstar is LL Cool J, and the first rap super group is Run DMC.
Yeah.
Both from Queens.
Yeah. These are people that emerged to music, TV, film, sneakers, brand, all types of stuff. So I think it would be Queens.
How was music incorporated into your life growing up? So like, when did you start falling in love? What was that relationship like with music?
Oh my God, a little kid. We was from, like I said, 70s was the year of love. It was the love.
What was playing?
And it was a lot of music playing that it was crazy because music back then described the individual. It also created the mood. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like I had a house. I was the youngest of 5, so you know, I had 2 sisters that listened to disco, and everybody listened to disco, but my 2 sisters and my older brother, they really listened to disco. My mother loved country music.
Oh
But
wow.
my mother loved music that had a meaning to it. Like if my mother went and bought an album, it was serious. It was a serious thing. Like her song "Young Hearts Run Free" by Candy Staton. Whenever she played that, and she was in the kitchen and she was cooking, don't fuck with her,
Right.
because she's pissed off about something, or she's like, what's the sense of sharing this long and lonely life? And she's doing it, but then she will also go and buy Linda Ronstadt. Oh no, Tammy Wynette. She'll buy "Stand By Your Man." But when she's playing that record, it's because something that happened in the room, and she's playing that record like, all right, should I fucking leave this nigga, or should I stay with this nigga?
I know that song from the Blues Brothers soundtrack.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But my mother was that type of person. But the thing was about the stereo, and I know a lot of people might not know about this, but the stereo was a thing where it had a needle and it had a record, it had a vinyl. So us kids couldn't touch the needle. We couldn't fuck with the needle, nor let's scratch up the vinyl.
Right, you mess up
because you get your ass whipped. So we had, if my mother bought Candy Staton just to hear "Victim," you had to listen to the other 3 records before the needle lifted up and came back. So without thinking, you're actually being educated on the other 3 records. So your mind is like getting into this thing to where, okay, my mother bought the album for "Victim," but these other 3 records that come after it, we have to listen to this because we can't pick the needle up, because if my mother hears, and that's how it used to sound when you pick the needle up.
Exactly.
If she hears that, she'd be like, who messing with that steering wheel? Shit. Put it down. And the next you know. So in our house, if you had to listen to my mother's Candy Staton album, in order to play your song or your 45 or whatever, you had to wait for her to be done with her shit.
Right.
So when you heard that joint go, it will go to the end, it will go, boop, 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 ooh, ooh. Whoever was near that stereo better catch
it.
that record.
Yes.
And then we'll throw Michael Jackson, we'll throw Jackson 5 up there. Next thing you know, we're listening to ABC. Now, the ABC record was broke. The 45 was broke. So we had to push it together. And you would just hear ABC, boom. We didn't care because the music was coming through
Exactly.
the speakers, you know what I'm saying? And so next thing you know, we play that for a minute, and the next thing you know, my father come home, and he done had a hard day's work. He's taking care of the crib, so he might play Curtis Mayfield. And he playing his, and you know, he cooking with, you know, it's just the music had just a mood to the house. So when I was young, that's when that love for music came.
But at what age did you decide this is what I'm gonna try to do?
7 years old when I first heard Songs in the Key of Life by Stevie Wonder.
Oh, wow.
Because I never heard an album with so many genres on one album to understand it later on down the line that actually Berry Gordy was allowing Stevie Wonder to actually promote that type of album because Berry Gordy didn't believe in that album because he thought that it had too many genres on it. But this is an album that had Isn't She Lovely? There's the moon, the stars, it had that. It had Saturn. It had Ordinary Pain. It had I Don't Want to Bore You With It. All these different types of vibes on there.
What?
And my mother bought that album along with Fleetwood Mac. She really wanted the Fleetwood Mac album, but she let us buy the Songs in the Key of Life album because that album came out. So here's the thing. We bring these albums home. I remember this because I was a little kid, 6, 7 years old. It's crazy. We let mom play her, fool me up till the sun comes up and you say that you love me. We had to let her play it a few times. Then after she was through and she went in her room, we was like, all right, pulled our Songs in the Key of Life, we played this album. And this album just possesses the fucking house. It's just like, you're just like in front of it, isn't she lovely? And you're hearing Joy Inside My Tears, you're hearing Black Man, you're hearing the other song, and you're hearing Ordinary Pain, you're hearing all these other stuff. And I'm just like, why is this album different from any other album? So, talking to my older sister, Luelma, you know what I'm saying? I was like, yo, why on the bottom of the label it says all songs produced by Stevie Wonder? And she said, because I think maybe he has something to do with all of these songs. And I said, whatever that is, I want to do that.
Wow, you remember the exact moment.
I said, I want to be a producer. And I used to watch his albums. And, you know, Stevie Wonder's albums always had this, like, weird album cover. So you was just, like, wondering how this blind man saw this stuff. So it was just, like, it mesmerized me. So I wanted to be a part of that. And also Earth, Wind, and Fire and Quincy Jones is, like, really what made me want it to be. And then jazz. Because jazz always had this thing where you didn't hear a singer on it, but the instrument always gave you a hook.
What instruments do you play?
The horn,
Yeah.
the guitar.
A little bit of everything?
Yeah, a little bit of everything.
Yeah, like the horn definitely was.
Yeah.
Who taught you how to play music?
I didn't teach. I was self-taught. Ear. My mother just played. My mother brought me a keyboard, a Casio MT100 from Sears. It cost like $118, and she bought it for me. And my brother was in a choir, and Blaine Aiken, God rest his soul, he used to play this song called How I Got Over, and I learned how to play that song, and then I would just learn how to play it in every key. And that's how I learned.
Did they have music programs in school? Sorry.
No, go ahead.
They had music programs. And me and my mother was so funny because I used to argue with her and say, why you didn't put me in music school when I was young? Why you didn't see? She said, boy, you better cut that out, all that stuff that was going on when I was
reality.
young.
It wasn't a
Yeah, it wasn't like I didn't see that in you. I was in the household trying to just make it.
Yes, that's
You
that.
know
Go
what I'm
back
saying?
to having grace for our parents. Like we always be like, why you didn't do
yes,
this?
but the education of music.
That's different, right?
Because right now, I'll play notes right now that I was self-taught. I'm doing everything wrong. And I remember a piano player came to me and said, I don't like what you're doing, but I like what you're doing. He said, because you're taking half of a chord and you're playing another chord. You taught yourself how to play that chord, so you're actually creating another chord. But I didn't know I was doing that. But see, to a piano player that's learning by theory, I'm funky. So I'm playing the one that makes you, ugh. You know what I'm saying? Because I was feeling that way when I did it. He's playing this way because that's what he was taught. I'm playing a chord that makes you go, oh, shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it wasn't me being an expert. I just was trying to feel that chord that I felt through the records that I heard. You know what I'm saying?
But some of that is the best way to make music.
Yeah.
It's on this documentary they was talking about a Michael Jackson song. It's a Michael Jackson documentary, and the writer is like, you know, he's a white guy. He was writing songs for the Jackson 5, and they wanted to say like, ain't no way. And he was like, well, that's not proper English. And Michael was like, I don't care if it's proper English. It feels better singing that way.
Yes.
And so a lot of the times it's almost like you don't create in a box. You kind of like, I'm gonna do whatever the hell I want to do.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's kind of that probably is the blessing if you think about it. Because
it was the blessing.
when you meet when you meet these classically trained producers, pianists, and they follow by rules. They live in that box. You can't do that. You can't do this. You got to do it like this. And you was like, well, why?
Yeah.
Well, that's not how you do it.
Yeah.
And then you broke your own rules.
I was actually
your own
humming
rules.
my own music at like 6, 7 years old. My mother said she thought I was retarded. But I used to, being that I was listening to the music that I was listening to, I used to always go on my bed and be like, making my own thing. And I would hit my teeth together. And I still do it now. And it's kind of like fucked up because when I do it not knowing, people got to be like, yo, stop doing that because I hear it. You know what I'm saying? But I hit my teeth together. And I used to do that when I was little for the kick.
Wow.
So I'd be like, and I'd be in my bed like, and this is 6, 7 years old.
That's
So
crazy.
you knew it.
I knew it.
So when did at what age did you actively say, I'm going after this?
It wasn't me actually going after it. It's like I was kind of put in a neighborhood that it was happening. And I think every neighborhood at that point was experiencing hip hop in such a way. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because, when you heard Sucker MCs, you know what I'm saying? And I know I'm telling my age on that too, but Sucker MCs and The Show and Rapper's Delight, all these different type of songs, something was happening. Something was happening. And, and the music was changing. And if you lived on the block, that block had turntables. I don't know who house had it. Somebody's house had turntables. Somebody's house had a mic. So wherever block you was on in Queens, it was going down. Somebody was rapping and somebody was being a DJ. I was blessed to be on 174th Street between 110th and 109th, and we had DJs, we had MCs. My boy was putting turntables together. They weren't Techniques, but it was a stereo from one thing, and he put the stereo with the other stereo, and they have the mixer, and it was being created. You was DJing, you was putting the speakers in front of your house, somebody was rapping, and you were just a part of it.
Yeah.
So then you get older, now it's high school and everything and all of that type of stuff. So now hip hop is forming, but part of your neighborhood is becoming hip hop as well.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people saw me from the Math Hoffman interview. I was talking about a guy named Shake. Shake was my best friend, Khalik's brother. He was a very popular kid from 4th grade all the way until the time that hip hop was being what it was. He was one of the best dancers in Queens. He lived across the street. he lives around the corner, 174-16, 111th Avenue. And at his house, we would go to his house, and there was, moms was letting us dance. You know what I'm saying? She was letting us dance. She was letting us dream, and it was just a lot of things happening. Now, that house was doing that. So Shake was dancing for Guy. You know what I'm saying? And the crazy thing was about that, and I don't want to be long-winded in it because I asked someone.
Hear this.
I remember when Shake and Khalik came home, and they said, yo, man, we just did this hot video. And I was like, for real? They said, yeah, we did this hot video. And it's for this group. You know what I'm saying? For this group. Like, where? They said, what's the name of the group? He said, some group, Guy. The name of the group is Guy. He said, it's supposed to be really big. It's supposed to be some really big joint. It was grooming.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So when you see at the beginning, like the dude's doing this in the front and everything, my best friend is in the front. Khalik is in the front. And he got his friend Neon with him from Art and Design. They're both there. He brought his crew there because they needed a dance thing. But in the part of the video, when you see this one light-skinned guy dancing with this girl by herself, that's Shake.
Assume we done this, we're going to pull it up and I want to see it.
Right. I
want to see it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, for some strange reason, I guess because the grind was happening, Damien ends up staying at Shake's house. from Guy.
Yeah.
He ends up staying at Shake's house.
Yeah.
So while Guy was
On the
happening
Yeah.
on the come up, Damien's at Shake's house. You know what I'm saying? And every day in the living room, we're dancing, with the Groove Me is on, is tearing up the world. And then when Guy's album came out, Damien Hall, which is Aaron Hall's brother.
Yeah, Aaron's Hall brother.
When Guy comes out, Damien's still staying at Shake's house. So this guy has 7 #1 records on the radio.
And he's still at Shake House.
We're still at Shake's house. So he has this car. Damien's gonna bug out because when he hears the story, he had this car. It looked like a car. It was an old school car. And I remember him going to this place called Cartoons, and he put a serious system in this damn car. But he was living off the glory of that album, the first Guy album.
Yeah. Crazy.
Now while that's happening, with friends, everybody's friends on the block, boom, 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 boom. Fife and Jerobi. Nothing's going on yet. Q-Tip, John, which lives a few blocks away, which is Q-Tip.
Right,
We call him John.
Just John.
Yeah.
Do that.
He gets on a song with De La Soul. And he gets on a song with the Jungle Brothers. We're all back.
This not Buddy. What song is this?
No, the Jungle Brothers song was, I don't know what the Jungle Brothers song was, but I know on De La Soul, Me, Myself, and I, we says, I don't flip, I point at Q-Tip, and he says, black is black.
Glory. No, that's Me,
Myself,
Myself, and I. Yep. Yeah.
So he does that. So next thing you know, something's happening. And then next thing you know, Fife and Jerobi, we all on the bus. And he said, yo, man, John wants to put a group together and wants to name it a Tribe Called Quest. We're like, what? Tribe Called Quest? That's crazy. We don't say that they're lying because he's on these other records. Next thing you know, Left My Wallet and El Segundo comes out.
It's boom.
Who's in the back seat? Fife and Jerobi, right? So
crazy.
While that's happening, my mother joins a church in Corona. She's going to be a minister. And, you know, in the Methodist church, the ministerial staff has levels in which they go. So now she's an exhorter. But there was another person that was also in the ministry, and his name was Elder Martin. Elder Martin had a son, Christopher Martin. Mm-hmm. So Christopher Martin was part of a group. Well, the group actually was forming while we were going to church because me and Chris was in a choir together. Me and Chris was in a choir. He was starting a group called Fresh Force. Mm-hmm. Fresh Force had Playboy, which his name was Playboy, from Quicksilver and the Super Lover MCs, a crew that was in Corona. And then there was also Kid. So then they went from Fresh Force. They made a song called She's a Skeezer. You know what I'm saying? That came out, you know. And the next thing you know, he chopped the boy off. It was Play, Kid and Play. So that was in my church.
Wow.
Kid and Play was happening.
And was Herbie Lovebug in your mix too?
Yeah, because Herbie Lovebug wasn't in my mix. Herbie Lovebug was in Christopher Martin's mix because he was part of that crew called Quicksilver and the Super Loving MCs.
By the way,
Herbie was in that group.
I don't know if you noticed, but Kid and Play, Salt and Pepper, and Martin Lawrence all worked together at a call center.
Yeah.
Yeah, they all work together at a call center.
At the same time? Or?
No, they all are friends, like real friends. Because Herbie Lovebug was a part of Kid and Play. He was helping. He was their producer also, but he was also Salt and Pepper's producer.
Yeah.
Because he was like one of the girls was his girlfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Herbie Lovebug was kind of like he was that guy back then.
Oh yeah.
And we still had hood favorites in Queens because we had Supreme Team, and Supreme Team was in 40 Projects.
I love
and then 40 Projects, we had Grandmaster Vic, we had DJ DeWitt, we had Spank G, we had Dada Rock, we had the Lost Boys. The Lost Boys
from Queens.
Yeah, they was fighting. They used to be fighting up in the Coliseum, and next thing you know, Cheeks is one of the dopest rappers. Like he comes out. So we had the Lost Boys happening as well. You know what I'm saying? So it was a lot of stuff happening at one time. So when did you say I decided to become it? It was happening around me.
It's almost like you had to fall into something.
You had to fall into something.
Yeah.
So next thing you know, I started doing like pause tapes with my boy Tyreek.
What's a
Tyreek
pause
Lawrence.
tape? I never.
It's like when you don't have DJ equipment or beat machine equipment, you have a cassette.
I remember that.
So you want to just get your break beat, get the better speed of the break beat, record it, then pause it, put it back, record it,
Back
then
in
pause
the day,
it.
like we used to try to
Yeah.
make our own little mixtapes and stuff.
Yeah. So we did that, and the next thing you know, somebody saw me, you know, as a talent on it, and they hooked me up with Mike Argyle, which was working with Shake, hooked me up with Zan, Teddy Riley and Zan, and then Zan, you know, because at that time the MPC 60 had came out. It was one of the first beat machines.
Yeah.
And Mike Argyle hooked me up to Zan. Zan took me out to Jersey, and I was with Zan, and Zan taught me the machine, but he had also took me out to Virginia, and that's where I was really with Teddy. And Teddy had just did Rump Shaker. Yeah, so, but then around that time, I had a friend in my neighborhood named Shazzy, which was also a rapper. She was on Elektra, and she was friends with K Solo. And K Solo,
Caleb, he not who sang. No, I'm thinking about Main Source.
yeah, K Solo's from Long Island.
Yeah.
He was part of the
Light skin.
squad.
EPMD. EPMD.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, I know what you're talking
Yeah.
about.
So at that time, there was talks about a guy named Redman. Everybody was like, "Yo, man, there's this guy named Redman from Jersey. He's really dope. He's about to come out." But we had I had some family up the street called the Andersons. You know, Janice, Brian, Cheryl, and all of them. And they threw a barbecue, and Shazzy brought K Solo to the barbecue, and Solo brought Redman to the barbecue. Wow. And this was at the time where Redman, he had just did Monticello Park with Biz. He had ripped it. So he was fresh off that. So I met him, and he was across the street playing beats, and I had a tape that I did at Zan's house, and I played it for Red, and there was one beat on there that he loved, and he said, "Yo, man, when I go on this Hit Squad tour and I come back," he said, "I'm gonna put you on." Now, mind you, we ain't have cell phones.
Yeah, I'm about to say how long, because that's you telling the story in hindsight, but I'm pretty sure there was probably a month or two months of waiting and waiting and like, man, please.
But at that time, now what's crazy, at that time that he told me he was gonna put me on, that's when I went to Virginia, and I was with Teddy, and Teddy had just did Rump Shaker, and he had just did Remember the Time and all of that. And he had this compound on Virginia Beach Boulevard.
That's where is that where like Tim, Missy,
oh
Devontae,
my God. I didn't see Tim, I didn't see Missy, I didn't see that
Pharrell,
but Pharrell, me and Pharrell used to walk down Virginia Beach Boulevard, and Pharrell had like gold dreads, and he has this army joint he used to wear. And it was me, Pharrell, Knowledge, Bank.
Yep, Bank.
It was Ty Fife.
Yep.
SWV had just came down there to do the Right Here remix.
And that's Pharrell saying SW.
Yeah, that's
Pharrell
Pharrell
saying SW
Pharrell
to the
doing
V.
that.
No way.
Yes. And the I'm So Into You remix.
Yeah.
And but Teddy had this facility in the middle of Virginia Beach Boulevard, and it looked like this, but this back in like 1991. You know what I'm saying? And the plaques all over the wall, and Michael Jackson had made this room for him because he had this room with a pool table and everything. Michael Jackson gave him all of these different type of stuffed animals and pictures with it's like Michael Jackson decorated the room. Like it was crazy. And Teddy Riley would be in that room, and then next thing you know, he'll come out and right here.
So you're around all of that.
We right there watching it.
I just want to say something very important that if anybody's watching, it's something very important that you said that nobody probably caught, but I did. Even though Redman heard your beat and said, "I'm coming back to get you," you didn't stop. You still kept moving.
Zan took me to.
You know what I'm saying? Because there's some people who are like, "No, I'm waiting on this opportunity to come."
No,
and it's
but
like you got to keep it moving.
Yeah. The anticipation that you have now, is much different than it was back then because the waiting period was, well, damn. Like, I guess when you do come to it, you know, but we were all living, everybody was living in this thing because Ty Fife, even though he was down in Virginia, he's from Queens.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He was DJ Quick.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know, and so, you know, and while I'm down there with Teddy and Zan, big shout to Zan, because if it wasn't for Zan, there's a lot of things that wouldn't have happened. So I give him much props for that. Zan was also a writer for Teddy. He wrote my fantasy. It's just my fantasy and the other joints that he did. So when we were down there with Teddy, Teddy does that. We fly back from there. Me and Zan goes to Jersey. I come back. So when I come back, my mother gets on the phone because now whoever pages you has to call you at your house. Ain't no cell phones.
So mom
right?
answering the phone.
So my mother, she gets up one night and she's like, somebody by the name of Redman.
No way.
And then she said, who's a Redman?
Right.
Who's a Redman? So here I am. I got to page Redman.
And wait at that
and
phone.
Wait for him to call me back.
And also, don't let no one get use the phone.
Yeah.
Don't call nobody because I need.
Yeah. Mind you, there's a church in the basement.
Yeah.
My mother got a church in the basement. And here I am in one of the seats in the church waiting for the call. So the phone rings. Answer the phone. You hear music, loud music. Hey, yo. And I said, yo. You hear, yo. He said, yo, what up? I said, yo, what's up? He said, where you at? I said,
You just call me at my mama.
I'm home. She said, yo, I'm coming to get you. And I told the story before. I think Red used to steal cars back in the days. If this was a stolen car, he stole his car.
Hold on, so
I know he stole his
stolen
car.
What kind of car was
Jersey
it?
used to steal cars. You didn't know about Jersey?
New Jersey Drive, the movie New Jersey Drive.
New Jersey
Hold on,
Drive?
what kind
No. Watch New Jersey Drive again after you hear my story. They stole cars.
What kind of car was
They
it?
stole cars. It wasn't his car. And it wasn't his mother's car. It was a small car.
Just for
He
fun,
stole it.
fuck it.
I know he stole it. And he picked me up.
And you got him willingly.
And he took me to Guy Brewer to Princess Black. He bought $100 worth of dime bags. Probably was more than that. And he bought 1 million Philly blunts. And we went back to his crib in Newark, and he rolled them. He was just rolling them. Also, I got to say this too. Organized Confusion in Queens.
Yes.
Organized Confusion. Because every time I think about this part, I think about Prince. Because we all used to smoke weed together. Organized Confusion was another major component in Queens that I knew. Yeah. That I was also a part of.
Then they say that sound crush, kill, destroy, stress.
Yeah. They made that. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I got to also remember them. Organized Confusion, Nice, Butch, Sage, you know what I'm saying? The whole crew. You know what I'm saying? Complex, all of them. You know what I'm saying? So, OC, he was also a part of it too. And next thing you know, Redman blows up. He blows up. He saves Def Jam.
Yeah.
You know, Leon says the story like Redman saved Def Jam.
Yeah.
So when that album came out, that album was like a nostalgia. And I went on tour with him. He took me on tour. He got me so fucking high though. I never smoked a blunt like this long, like from the ass to the front. It's just I was blowing them big ass blunts. Like, and then I was a church kid. You know what I'm saying? My mother was a minister.
They turning you out.
And weed was like
blowing.
Bad back then.
They turning you out.
Just blowing. You know what I'm saying? And next thing you know, he took me to L.A. We started working with a Crip named Mello. You know what I'm saying? I'm on tour with Red. We're working with a Crip. You know what I'm saying? We come home.
What do you mean working with a Crip?
Crip named Mello.
What do you mean you working with him? What y'all doing with him?
He was doing his album. Def Jam had the Def Jam South. And Mello was the project we was working on. And
okay.
We was out there with the South Side Crips.
I have a question. So when you're producing, right, because you're talking about working on somebody's project.
Working with a Crip.
Just with a Crip. So a record like Lady Marmalade, right, who has a bunch of different people on it.
Yeah.
So did you make the beat first and then figure out who you wanted on it, or like how did that even go?
Lady Marmalade was a project. Big shout to Missy Elliott, Melissa, Misdemeanor.
Yeah.
It's my baby. I love her so much.
She don't get
I was
enough credit.
actually working in a studio. We were on Westlake on Santa Monica. I was in one room. She was in another room. They were working on Aaliyah. And they approached her with the project.
Who's they?
The
movie people.
Baz from the
Okay.
movie, Jimmy Iovine. They approached her with the project. At that time, me and Missy was working on music together. You know what I'm saying? So Missy said, yo, Rock, I got this project I'm doing. Boom, you want to do it? And I agreed to it, you know, and she put me in the studio and we put it together. And once we put it together and made it all stick, the whole reason for that was already set in stone about this movie Moulin Rouge.
Right.
And that scene of that song was supposed to describe I don't want to say this wrong, but the burlesque theme of women in lingerie. You know, so they already had
That kind.
Christina, Pink, all of those people together.
They knew who they wanted already.
Yeah,
but
I
those
didn't
are
know.
a wild combo of people.
Yeah.
You got Pink and Little Kim. Like,
Yeah,
what?
so they had all of this set in stone. Now, I didn't know. So after we do the track, I'm sitting in the studio. Christina walks in. No. Pink walked in. So, you know, I'm like, okay, all right. Then Christina walked in. Then Maya walks in. Then Little Kim walks in. And I'm sitting there. This is when I was blowing. I'm sitting there blowing, you know, sitting there smoking, and my boy is just like, yo, Rock, what the hell's going on? I said, I don't know. Next thing you know, we do this song. And what's crazy about Lady Marmalade is that the first version of Lady Marmalade, Tweet was on it.
Remember Tweet.
And it leaked.
Who leaks this stuff is always my
It
question,
leaked.
but-
It leaked for like that first week, and then the version with the girls had to come out immediately because somebody had leaked
Y'all had
Tweet's
to
verse.
push it faster.
And they pushed it out. And that song, if I remember when I did that record and Jimmy Iovine put his hand on my shoulder and he said, if you don't do no other fucking record for the rest of your life, he said, this fucking record right here.
They'll do that to karaoke to this day.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it was an amazing.
He's gonna feed you.
Yeah,
he
exactly.
said,
Right, yeah, he's
like,
like,
this is the
this-
copy.
I
this the
mean,
one.
I wish I had some publishing to that record
shoot,
because
man.
it's actually a cover. So the original person had to get all the love.
Yeah.
The original person. It's a cover.
But it was interpolation.
But it's an interpolation where I get mechanicals. But had I got a point of publishing,
Yeah.
off that bitch.
So nobody got published on Lady Marmalade.
We got mechanicals. I think.
Yeah.
Because it's a cover. Voulez-vous que je m'aime? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
She
that's
met Mama, lie down and all. That's not us. That's,
Yeah, that's Patti LaBelle.
That's the original writer. That's
Yeah,
Patty.
yeah.
And we also had fun doing it with Patty at the Grammy Awards because when I also performed on stage with them when they did the Grammy Awards, and just to look at your song being played at the Grammys,
It's crazy.
it's crazy. And now my stupid ass, and I'll show you a picture. I went to Logan's on Melrose, and I was wearing Timberlands at the time a lot, so I had to make me a Timberland suit made out of Timberland fabric.
No.
That shit cost me
No.
$4,000.
Can I see this? I need
So
a
I
picture.
have to. I'll send y'all the
This is
picture. I'll
the
send y'all the
most
picture.
East Coast thing
Yeah.
I've ever heard
I
in
need
my
to see
entire
this.
Real stupid.
life.
This is before I knew that you had to wear a damn black suit at the Grammys.
No, no,
That's
no.
what
You did
have
not
to-
hold
go
on,
to
but
the
You have to
Grammys.
Isn't
wear.
that like Carhartt,
you have,
though?
You have to wear.
Oh, Carhartt is a good one.
No, it's actually, what is it called? That fabric is. It was a fabric. I forgot what it was called. But I said, yo, that fabric, I need you to make me a whole suit with that fabric. He said, are you serious? I said, I'm paying for it.
What tie do you wear
So
with
for
that?
$4,000, I made.
I need to see that
I
picture.
made. You want to see it?
I
I
wouldn't
need it.
write
Please.
like. Can we put that in? Can we insert this
Yeah,
like
you're gonna
at the
insert
bottom,
this in.
like
Hold on,
right
hold on.
here?
You're gonna
because-
insert this in.
You had a Timberland suit.
I had a Timberland.
That's the
suit.
most
To
New
all
York
my-
shit.
All my New York people are here. Are y'all co-signing that?
No, I'm
Jack
like I'm
Daniels.
kind of embarrassed on the
Oh
low.
my
like,
God, Harlem, girl from Harlem.
Yeah, like I'm like
When
I
I
didn't-
co-signing the what? So you mean to tell me you guys are like now
Grammys.
you
That's
draw
where we
your
draw the
line
line.
at Timberland clothing material?
There's only one type of.
Oh, you from New York? I need you to.
Yeah, y'all
wasn't
might have to take
Queens?
that out. We gonna make Queens hold
All
that
these
one.
other things out of here.
'Cause ain't nobody.
Okay, let me do it.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. The we got.
Nah.
to,
That was. I'm gonna tell you what that was. While he's looking for the picture, that was. How can I go to the Grammys and be the realest version of myself?
And here's a crazy story.
Am I tripping? It's like I want to be comfortable. I want to be true to me.
No, I'm true to me. I'm Timberlands. I'm Timberland. You know, Queens is Timberland out. Timberland and Carhartt suits. I wish I would have had a Carhartt suit.
Yes,
I would have did a
please.
whole
I
Carhartt
would prefer
suit.
that.
But this is now hold on. I was pimped though.
I bet. Let me see.
I was pimped.
Oh, it's not as bad as I thought. It's
What?
He got the hat.
And I had the hat.
Y'all have to see this.
Let me see.
You got to see the inside.
Oh, that's hard.
Yeah,
hard.
it's not as bad as I thought it was gonna be.
How bad was it gonna be? What you thought?
Oh, I had
that
a
shit
whole
sounded
nother,
crazy, bro.
You said I
Yeah,
had a
it
whole
sound.
nother thing.
It looks good. It got a little swag to it.
That was
Got a
swag.
little swag to it.
But I was at the Grammys looking like I sold women.
That's fine. You definitely give that.
I
It's
did.
definitely giving that.
Yeah, it's a pimp.
He definitely reads, "Where are my bitches? I don't know where my bitches are."
But I was decked out. Now.
Nobody else could pull that off. I
The
just wanna say
crazy
that.
part. The crazy part was
Don't go
is
try
Patti
and
LaBelle,
tell
and she will tell you the story. Patti LaBelle, when we was doing rehearsals, Patti LaBelle grabbed my face and she said, "I have 2 Rockwilders in my yard, but they do not look like you."
Aww.
This is what she said, right? So I was like, "Yo, Patti, stop, because
Right.
you're on the list.
Right.
You, Felicia Rashad,
hello.
I got a list.
Hello.
Stop." You know what I'm saying? So
we
you
be
know,
married.
You know what I'm saying? First time.
By the way, you probably on her list. By the way,
This
you
at
probably on her
rehearsal.
list.
This is at the
Ooh.
rehearsal. No, I probably was. You know what I'm saying? But when I was overdressed at the Grammys,
Right.
and I was with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, I had the head on. So they're talking to Patti LaBelle. So Patti LaBelle comes to me and says, "Rockwilder?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "I knew that was you behind them shades." I was like, "Patti, let me explain something to you, because I'm gonna get drunk.
Flirting.
Stop." Because I have a list.
You got one more time.
Don't start no shit you can't
I
finish.
have a list.
Don't
That's
start
2
no-
strikes
I don't know what could have happened, because I never went that age before. But I had a list.
You was willing.
And after I got drunk that night and other things I was doing, Patti would have got it. I'm sorry.
Other things
just
I
saying.
was
Because she's fine. She's old.
Yeah.
She's aged like fine wine.
Sure
fine.
has.
So she would have got it. I don't know what would have came after it, but she would have got it.
She looked
So
like
that's
she
all
would
I'm
have
saying.
taught you some things. I ain't gonna
Probably
hold
would've
you.
taught
Well, your ass, you
Because I ain't
get-
know too much, so she probably would have taught me those things.
I didn't know too much.
Like, I'm about to show you.
Hey, you-
Nutty Professor, when he said, "I'm gonna teach you everything I know."
I was about to say, you were a preacher's kid. She was gonna show you some shit.
Oh
definitely
my
was.
God, a preacher's kid. Y'all don't understand. Like, I had plaques on the wall, and I was playing for my mother's church in the basement every Sunday.
I love that.
Can
I
you
was
sing
doing
too?
that.
Because you said you was in a choir.
Yeah.
You got a little. Come on, give us some vocals and
I mean, it
everything.
sounds like I got a cold, but I can.
But
So
you-
I have a question. How did the Rockwilder song get made, and when did they find out it was? When did you find out it was going to be named after you?
All right, the Rockwilder was a story that Red and Meth was working on an album. And from my knowledge, from the beginning of my knowledge.
Favorite records ever all time, by the way.
Oh man, thank you so much,
All
man.
time.
Thank you so much. Red and Meth was working on an album, and it was told that at the beginning of the album that RZA was supposed to work on it, and Eric was supposed to work on it.
Sermon.
That's it. So when it came time for more people to be on it, and this is how I heard it, because most people be like, no, they didn't, they'll tell a different story. But that's how I was hearing it from my end. So when it came time to have other producers on there, I think Scratch had just got on there, and they were looking for beats. So what happened is that I had did Sucker MCs over first.
Okay.
And I did it with a harder kick, harder snare, harder claps and everything. So it was like, bo-ka, 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 bo-ka. So here I am, I just did this beat. I'm playing it all day. Me and Chris Boogie in the car. So we had this thing in Queens where the beat ain't a beat until it plays in the car all day, right? So me and Chris Boogie, we in the car. We smoking, bo-ka, bo-ka, bo-ka. Oh, I can't wait to play this for Red. Oh, man, it's going to be so dope. Blah, 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 blah. I want Red to say 2 years ago, a friend of mine. Blah, 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 blah. And I want Meth to say, I'm MEF in the place to be. I go to some university and blah, blah. I had the whole thing set up. So like we play this beat all day. Go to Branson, uptown, where Red is always at, buying his weed. Red gets in the back seat. I play the track. I'm bopping my head, selling it. So Red is in the back. He's like, okay. I said, nah, man, like, you do Run's verse? left through DMC's verse like crazy. Def Jam.
Yeah.
You know the nostalgia, you know what I'm saying? And he's like, it's cool. I'm like, come on. Out of all the people that I produce for, there are 2 people in life that is hard, 3 people that is hard for me to play tracks for. I ain't gonna say 3, I'm gonna say 2. Redman and Lil' Kim are the hardest people to play tracks for. If you do 18 tracks on a cassette and you give it to Red, the first few tracks you think Red gonna pick, he ain't gonna pick up. He gonna pick track number 17, the track that you would least expect him to buy. He's one of those. So I play the track, Red is like this. So now Boogie's in the car, he's down playing it too because, he's just like, now he ain't bopping like he's supposed to be bopping.
He ain't supporting you right now.
I'm sitting there like,
nigga, bop your head, bro.
Like, come on.
Right.
So then Red says, it's cool. Boogie looks at Red, Red look at Boogie, they start laughing. So now I'm mad. I'm like, come on, man. Like, listen to the track. Like, I'm still sitting there bopping my head. Damn, they hit my head on the windshield. I'm like, come on, nigga. Like, so Red says, you just can't expect me to rap over everything. And when he said it, it was like an echo was on it. It was like it was compressed. It was like it was mixed when he said that. And that shit, I was looked at him and I was high too, fucked up. And I was just like, so Red gets out the car, gives us a pound. I drive home. I don't even play the beat no more. I'm like,
In silence.
like look, drop Boogie off like traitor. Drop him off. You know what I'm saying? He gets out the car. And then I went upstairs, and I don't know why, but I went upstairs and I was just like, you know what? Fuck that. Took my pants off, put some weed by the door because my mother had the church in the basement, so I was smoking in the attic. So I had to put the weed by the attic, so I was smoking and blowing it out the window. And I did that track from top to bottom, from the intro to the end. But the way I was working at that track, you know how when books say that sometimes when people really get it out of you, you release like this phoenix.
Yes.
That was the phoenix. I think the Rockwidler was the phoenix.
So the Rockwidler beat was made in response to them not responding.
I was through with everything because I was also mad too because I did Reservoir Dogs on Jay-Z's album and I didn't get my credit.
One of the hardest records, by the way.
Thank you. I didn't get my credit for that.
Shut the fuck up before I blast and bam. I'm sorry. Shit.
Yeah. Why? Like,
because it was Eric Sermon's job, so it was a quick thing.
You didn't get, but you got paid,
I told the story in depth on other things, but I kind of went too hard at my boy Pop and everything. But basically, I produced the track and it got on the Jay-Z's album. Eric got the credit because he had got the job, but the business didn't go right, so I ended up getting shafted on it. I didn't get the credit on it.
So you didn't
I get the credit now.
But you got paid though.
I get the credit now. I didn't get paid enough.
that's what I'm worried about.
I didn't get paid or nothing. So I was just fresh off that because that was tearing up the airwaves.
Oh, so you
and I was just like,
you
right,
was on one.
Yeah, I was just like, bram. So the crazy thing about the Rockwidler is when you hear it says, bram, 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 bram,
yeah.
I'm actually crying.
What?
I'm actually because I'm mad. I'm just like, motherfucker. Like,
so you're the first person to make the song cry. You made the song cry before Hov.
Yeah, but check this out. Let's go here. But it's that Phoenix you release because you're so mad, right?
Yep.
Boom, right? So then I do the track. Now what's crazy is that my mother, she comes, I had an attic that the stairs went like damn near like this. And, that's where I did all my work at. So my mother, she knocks on the door and she says, Dana. I said, what? You know what I'm saying? She says, what is that? So I'm like, it's a track I'm doing. And she said, I don't know, baby. But something about that one.
No way.
She said that. And then my sister.
Has she ever said anything like that before?
She does that sometimes. But
okay.
that one, she was like, baby, that one right there. She said, that one right there. And then my sister was getting ready for work.
So your mom heard the beat and was like, that's going to change your life.
She said, baby, everything that my mother said was a hit coming out my joint was a hit.
No. Somebody need to hire mom as an answer.
Yeah, she's
got
good.
an ear now.
What?
She's good. And then my sister.
Whose idea was it to add the, oh my God. Oh my
Red,
God.
oh my God, oh my God, Red.
By the way,
my God,
I'll tell you something.
Red,
Let me tell you something. That right there made you a lot of money. Let me tell you why.
Yeah.
Because the dramatics from the beat and the oh my God was probably the most famous scene from All About the Benjamins.
Okay.
Remember when they finally found the diamonds
when
and
they
they're
finally
like,
found the diamonds,
oh my God.
Yeah.
So I can't see somebody being excited about something and not have that.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, bro, like
I got you on that.
Yeah.
But there's another story with this also. So the track gets played. We're playing it all day in the hood. We blasting it. We playing it. Now I got to go to the studio. I go to the studio. Philan and Meth is there. Philan was she was a A&R rep from Def Jam. Philan Knight. Love you to death.
Love Philan.
You know what I'm saying? Philan hears it. She goes crazy. Meth hears it. He goes bonkers off it. Red comes to the studio. Red likes it.
He likes it?
He, just a little bit.
He likes it. But from the powers that be, he goes along with it. You know what I'm saying? Now, there is a longer version to that song. But they cut it short. You know what I'm saying? They ended that la 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 so it could finesse the album.
Yeah.
And then I was on Jamaica Avenue by Dwayne Reed, by the record store, and somebody said, "Yo," and when they came and they said, "Yo, you know the name of the song is the Rockwidler, right?" And I said, "No, it's not. It's fucking crazy. Come on, that ain't even possible. You know the name of the song."
Yeah,
it's a nigga that should say the Rockwidler.
Wow.
And I was like, "Word." I'm saying, next thing you know, it came on, and I can't lie, it came on, and I swear that whole day, that record came on the whole day, and I was just in my hood like,
bro, it's like at that moment, life changes.
You don't know what to do, really.
I'm saying, life changes.
Yeah, but you know
have
what's
a
funny?
song,
You know what's funny,
a
Ray?
hit song named after you as a producer.
Yeah, but you know what's funny, Ray? I guess because the weed was numbing me, but also you got to think about this. And I always say this. I had already experienced the big part of it with Shake.
Yeah.
Damien.
Yeah.
And Play.
Yeah.
And Fife and Jerobi.
Yeah.
So that thing, like I remember going to Shake's house and Bobby Brown was there. I remember Albie Shore being there. Like, you know what I'm saying? We knew these people. So that thing that was happening where everybody, that, all right, you made it, it's still felt like, okay, you got one in. Like, you got one in.
It's only got one foot to do.
I came from so much. LL was right here. I met Run. When I met Run, I think meeting Run was iller than Rockwidler to me. I saw Run. Run was like God. DMC was like God to us.
Yeah,
You know
exactly.
So it's like so many ups and things, feelings of that thing that when it finally came time for my time, it just felt like, okay,
my time.
It happened. You know what I'm saying? It happened.
You expect it, so I'm gonna tell you something. I have a lot of friends from New York. Jack Dan's the booker. He handles this show. He's from New York. Yeah. And the thing I noticed was that because
he does a lot of red, right?
He does. He does. He's like read it out right now. He's read it out right now. I don't know. I don't know what his affiliations are. I know he's Dominican also. He's half Dominican.
Yeah.
Is he really
a lot of red vehicles too.
Yeah. He pulled a bit of red. Yeah, exactly. But I just felt like I just learned that like one of my close friends who actually introduced me and Jack is a guy named Davon, and he's a Brooklyn guy, and he's like, bro, we ain't pressed because we know our time is coming because where we from. It's like we just expect it. It's like we just know it.
Yeah,
like it's like I actually admire the. Like, yeah, I'm like, bro, he's like, bro, Hov is from around the corner from me. I'm great. I'm like, it's weird how that works.
Like Organized Confusion making the Stress album was like iller than what the Rockwidler was to me. It was just like being in the studio with them making the Stress album. And that album sounded the way it was sounding was just so ill to me. So when it came time for me, you know, it just was crazy. Now, but what was happening that I didn't know what was happening, because I'm much older now, is as you attract the universe starts giving it to you. You start putting yourself in a zone, and then the universe starts putting it together. Because let me tell you something else that happened, which would probably be a segue into any question you want to ask about this.
For sure.
My brother was a Janet Jackson fan, right? So
Every man on the
and
planet should be.
yeah, but my brother's a fan.
The
Yeah,
Janet
my
Jackson
brother's
fan.
the
Got it.
Janet Jackson fan.
He was the fan.
So my brother was in the house with us, and he had pictures all on the wall of Janet. Everything, pictures everywhere. And we in the room playing around one day because, we come downstairs playing. And I just looked at one of the pictures and I said, you know what, Dale? I said, I'm going to produce songs for Janet Jackson. And I said, I'm going to take you to the first show and she's going to be performing my song. Wow. So he said, word? He said, crazy. I believe you. He said, I believe you. I said, you know what? Watch. We're going to do that. I went upstairs in the attic and I did 5 songs, 5 Janet Jackson songs. And I just put them on the side. And I was just like, just in case.
When it's ready, when
just
it's time, I got it going.
right?
That's
Boom.
freaking insane.
Right? And it's a good segue because the Rockwidler has a lot to do with this. So I'm sitting there driving. My manager, James Ellis, he calls me. I'm sitting there smoking. You know what I'm saying? So he's there. I was blowing. Red had me blowing crazy. So I'm blowing Dutch Master. Got the skunk in the Dutch Master. So Ellis calls and he says, yo, are you driving? Excuse me. He said, yo, are you driving? I said, yeah. He said, pull over. Because this is the craziest shit I've heard. I've never experienced some shit like this. This is him saying this.
Yeah.
I pull over on a highway. I'm on the Clearview. On the highway, pulled over. You know what I'm saying? And I said, what happened? He said, yo, I just got a call from somebody, and he says, yo, I don't know you, but you don't know me. He said, but I'm Janet Jackson's manager. He said, Janet Jackson came in the room and said, find Rockwidler.
How does that even happen?
Right? So he says, yo, she wants to speak to you tonight. I said, okay. I go to the studio, call her, and next thing you know, she flies me out to Indianapolis to work with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. We work on the album. The next year, the All For You tour happens. Bring my brother to the show. The first song she performs is Come On, Get Up, that we produced together. Me, Jimmy Jam, and Janet, we produced together. And my brother said, remember when you told me that you was going to do that?
He said, no, do you remember?
And I went
That's why you're here.
Yeah, and I said, yo, do you remember?
That's why I bought
when
you.
I told you that, doing that. So that was happening. Now, I don't know if it's because of the church in the basement.
Something.
Because my mother prays. My mother prays. She gets it through. Right?
Somebody got a direct
And what's crazy
line.
about the church in the basement, I remember when she wanted to put the church in the basement, she said, she came to the house and she said, I think I want to put a church in the basement. My father had a man cave down there. My father was like, come on, Eva. Come on.
Not take out the man cave and put a church.
Put a church in the basement. She said, but it is back, they're Southern families, so if that's what she wants to do. So she's putting up the panel and everything.
Happy life.
So I got a full studio upstairs in my attic.
Mm-hmm.
My mother comes upstairs on a Thursday. I got plaques on the wall.
Yeah.
Bad plaques. She says, I'm going to need an organist for. I said, Ma, listen, I'm not playing for your church. Why I'm not playing for your church? I said, Ma,
Don't even start.
I can't play for your church. I can't. I'm high as I'm talking to her. I can't play for your church. I can't play. First of all, I don't know how to play like organists play. I play how I play. I'm a producer play. She said, all right. She's looking at my wall. I got albums, Red Man albums, everything on my wall. She said, all right. God gave you all of this.
Oh, wow.
Oh, she
all of this.
She played that card.
And she said, all right, I'm just going to let you. If you don't want, I got a full studio. I got keyboards. I got like 3 keyboards, 2 beat machines. It's popping in my life. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? But I got weed in my pocket. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to go do something down the street. I know, you know what I'm saying? Like,
you about to go have some fun.
I'm about to go have some fun.
Yeah.
Go to strip clubs. So, like, you know what I'm saying? She said, all right, God bless you with all of this. She said, okay, I'm just going to have to figure it. We figure it out. Just figure it out. So Saturday night, I'm in the strip club, throwing it.
Having a ball.
So
Hold on. So when your mom says that doesn't change you immediately.
What?
I thought that was a coming to Jesus. I'll wait for you to tell me. And when she said that, Ray, I went downstairs.
Are you finished, Ma? I have to go outside and smoke.
I love it.
I have to go outside and smoke in the backyard of the church.
Yes. Okay.
In the
So
backyard
Saturday
of the church.
night, in the backyard. So I'm smoking, and I'm in the strip club, and like right at 10 o'clock, the music just stopped. It just was like everything was an echo. And I thought about my mother said, all right, God gave you all of this stuff and everything. and put the last dollar on the girl's ass. And I said, yo, y'all, I'm leaving. They said, what you talking about? Where you going? I said, I gotta play for my mother's church tomorrow. They all knew my mother because she saved all of them.
Exactly.
Yeah, she saved all of them. You had my boys with guns in their waist with their hands up like, in Jesus' name I pray.
Oh, my God.
All of that. She saved everybody. So I said, y'all gotta play for my mother's church tomorrow. And check this out. And I said, and y'all all gotta come. Because she said she wants everybody. Mm-hmm. We're drunk, destroyed, everything. It's like, come
in
on,
a strip
Rod,
club, talking about church.
Rod, come on. Day. But that next morning,
everybody's in church.
No, first you hear them clapping. Jesus is real. I'm still asleep. I'm up like this. I wake up.
Wake up.
The whole church, the whole building's shaking. I said, pulled the chords out my keyboard, came downstairs, drunk and high, hooked it up. Jesus is real. Jesus is real. And was playing the organ for my mother's church all during my career.
Wow, that's dope.
Every Sunday. If the only way I wasn't there
every
is if
Sunday?
I was on tour. Every Sunday.
Oh, I thought this was like a once, like, can you
every
just come?
Sunday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, every Sunday.
That's
I was
dope that you had that dedication still.
That's balance.
Yeah,
that's
dope,
the balance that's needed.
But my boys was in there testifying, telling on everybody. They were new members.
Mm-hmm.
So they was, I got a testimony.
Yep.
He wasn't right next last week. And we did go to the strip club, right? Didn't we go to the strip clubs? All happened in the church. Crazy. So that's but the Janet thing and everything, but that happened. And I always look at that part as crazy because even Lady Marmalade was crazy. Mm-hmm. Because at Lady Marmalade's, I was asking my manager, Ellis, I said, yo, man, when are we going to like really have meetings and stuff like that? He said, you give us a Grammy? He said, we had those meetings. And when they asked me about Lady Marmalade, I went in front of that studio and I said, we're going to win a Grammy with this. Mm-hmm. First Grammy presented that night was Lady Marmalade.
Fire. I think you got a direct line to the universe because what you say
they're commanding the universe.
By the way, your mom is special.
Read it when I was supposed to.
Your mom is special. That's crazy.
Yeah, my mother is special. My mother, I love her to death. She needs a
movie or a TV show.
She does.
I want to know about the making of some songs. So like Janet Jackson, so she was like America's sweetheart in the beginning, the sister to Mike and them, and then like she kind of transformed into the sex symbol in a way. So Would You Mind is one of them songs that kind of
after the church thing we go to.
Oh, yep. Let's go straight from church to Would You Mind.
Let's go straight from the Bible straight to the one of my nastiest songs.
Seems like the perfect segue to me. So tell me a little bit about making of that process and just how the song came to be.
Working with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, and actually what I was trying to do is I was trying to remake a lot of the feeling that she had from the Velvet Rope album.
Love the Velvet.
So
I went on that tour.
I think Would You Mind was my rendition of Rope Burn. That was on the Velvet album. Mm-hmm. So I was trying to make this song that just had a mood, kind of like what Jimmy Jam and Terry was doing. And you know, what was crazy about that is that Terry Lewis, Jimmy Jam is the musician. They're both musicians, but Jimmy Jam was in the studio a lot with me. With the Off You album. When I worked on Would You Mind, Terry came in the room, Terry Lewis came in the room, and he hardly comes in my room. And he came in the room and he gave me his blessings on that. And I think that was amazing. I was really amazed by that because, you know, it made me feel like I was really getting into the whole Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis thing that they was doing. Mm-hmm. Because I think when I came out there, I was supposed to bring kind of like the Rockwidler thing out there. That's what they was looking for.
Yeah.
But I think I was so mesmerized with what Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis did. And one thing I learned out there is that when you produce and you have an artist, most of the image of that artist is in the music.
Yeah.
So Janet is this beautiful, humble, small creature that comes in the room, and you thinking when she first walks in, you're like, oh my God, it's Janet Jackson. When she walks in, what the fuck I'm gonna do? This is Penny. This is Charlene.
Penny.
this is Charlene when she kissed Todd Bridges. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
you want to do the whole resume.
What am I gonna do when this woman walks through this room? And then next thing you know, we had already talked to him. We was on the phone like crazy. But then when she walks through, she's a little sweatsuit and everything. I'm like, oh, just, you know. And from there, we were just cool. We were just mad cool. Like, I never looked at her I swear to you, I never looked at her the same way I looked at her when I didn't know her. Like come on, damn near. If that video, she's God. She's, you know what I'm saying? But
sure.
she wasn't heard that one no more when I met her. It was just like
you met
this
Clark Kent.
I met Janet Demeter Joe Jackson. I met her, like, you know, but then I realized that the music, you know, so technically, if you wanted to make an album right now, I could give you the craziest album, thanks to Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, because I will know how to take your image and put it right to music and know how to give it right to the fans to say, all right, I don't care who's out right now. What's your name?
Tamara.
This is Tamara. And people, whether they like it or not, they'll still listen and be like, what the fuck is going on with that music that's different from this music? Because that's how I would produce you. I would produce you away from Sierra, away from everybody, away from Ella May and everybody. And I would give you your own thing. That's what they were doing with Janet.
You think you could do that like in today's world?
I could do that with any person in this room. I could do that. From Jimmy Jam teaching me that it's in the music. When she laughs, sometimes she's not laughing when she's laughing. They put that laugh there. Like when you said, oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God was that set stone for that moment.
Yeah.
They create moments with her.
I see what you're saying.
So Would You Mind was a moment. They created the moment. I had to sit next to her when she played me the song and I heard the lyrics. I'm going to be honest with you. The if thing did come back. You know,
she was on the list?
Yeah, she was like,
she was back on
she
the
was like, Rock, I want to play you the song. I said, all right. She sits right here. And I just want to fuck you, suck you, kiss you, ride you, such and such. That wasn't the part. I was like this, all right, song, boom, boom, boom. It's the moment at the end that oh my God, oh. And I was like, okay, so basically if it was going down.
Right.
This is what you oh, okay. All right, so when it went off, you know. Dope. That song is dope. That's dope. I'm gonna go outside and get high.
I need a moment.
All right, so I just sat next to Janet Jackson while she caught her moment. Okay. All right, go back inside and be a regular nigga.
Yeah.
But that was a moment.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy.
Yeah, you know, and she laughs about it to this day because she's so far from that now. And then we did Warmth. On the next album, we did Warmth. You heard Warmth. Warmth is probably one of the most nastiest songs ever in our life. And in her moment of what she was then, she was like, Rock, I want this song that just it's just all about sex. So I'm just like, okay, all right, boom, boom. So Would You Mind to Warmth was this thing we was making up that had a lot of sexual energy in it. But I was with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. I was like, all right, you want sex? I'm going to give you sex.
Yes.
I'm going to give you a dragged out guitar. I'm going to let everything drag. And you're going to feel like, and what does she write about? Warmth. The warmth of my mouth. I'm like, okay, all right. Okay. You need Jesus.
Look at Ray's face.
You need Jesus. You need Allah. You need Jesus. Yeah, that's what she was talking. And she was with Jermaine when she wrote that song. So I'm just like, all right, okay, all right, all right. Okay, all right. No,
That puts a different visual on it.
There's nothing like the warmth of my mouth. That's what the song was saying.
He just took me to a place. I remember I was A&R Sierra album, and you know, Sierra and Future were going through whatever they was going through. It was you know, it was like we was all together, then they weren't, and you know, neither one of them would talk about it. Like,
but weren't you working on Future's project? At the
I worked with
same time
Future
too?
and Sierra. So Future's the one. Yes, I was working with both of them, and they broke up. And
Awkward.
Yeah, but you know, it was kind of like, you know, not for me because they didn't talk to me about it, so I wasn't included in their business. It was like Sierra never mentioned it, Future never, like neither one of them. But then we was in the studio and she did I Bet You Start Loving Me, and you know, I remember they was playing the song and Sierra was performing it for me in the studio, and I was like, and I was kind of like you, I'm like, you know, of course she's like, so, that's your bitch over there, give me that ugly stare, and I'm like, I guess y'all not getting back together. So I was kind of like, Sierra, you don't want to talk about this? And she was like, no, we're not speaking about it. The record is going out, Ray. This is the record is going out. We're not speaking about it. And I was like, what I'm supposed to say after that? Like, it's like, so I'm only laughing because it's like those moments where you're working with an artist and they play you a song and you like, you don't want to talk about this? Like,
and you gotta also think, all for you was her freedom. She had broke up with Renee.
Yeah.
And this was her being free. So this was the songs that on that album. It's her being free. So,
how do you trust artists to do stuff like that? Because, like, I would be scared to back a project or put something out. How do you even trust that vision to say, you know what?
Well, what are you going to say to Janet Jackson and Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis? What are you going to say? Well, I personally think that you should not.
And not only that, everybody, I know everybody in the room is there to service the artist.
Yeah.
Like, you're not, you're not going to argue with an artist about what
I always worry
they
about
want to
yes
do.
men, though. Like,
No, there's no yes men.
No.
If you're there, you're there. And
if you're in the room, you're in the room.
Yeah, you're in the room. You're in the room.
You deserve to be there.
Well, no, because you're adding to the room. So you're not. So he's not there to say yes. He's there to say this is what I would do. Mm-hmm. It's not even really no's. It's just
I like that.
This is what I would do. This is what I would try. It's not like I don't like that. It's like, why don't you try this? Or sometimes it's like, well, you know, if you say this, what this is gonna bring. Are you cool with that? Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's just that. Like,
I could see that.
Yeah, when D-Dot told the story when 50 Cent played him How to Rob for the Mad Rapper to get on. And then D-Dot was like, you know, this guy's gonna have a lot of problems when his song drops, right?
Yeah.
And he was like, he's cool with that.
Yeah.
Mad Rapper jumps on How to Rob.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why I was laughing. I'm like, those moments when you're in the room, and it happens rarely, but when you're in the room, you're like, you sure? Are we sure we want to put this record out?
And that stuff was happening right in, you know, as you know, you're catching the person in the moment. You don't know that these songs are actually about what's happening right now.
And sometimes some artists are introverted. Most artists are introverted.
I think so.
They don't want to talk about it. Like, it's like, I talked about it.
That's how they express themselves,
I talked about it right there. You
that
heard
was
everything
my form
I feel.
of talking. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know, but the part of you is like, the warmth.
Yeah.
Get a better understanding of what that is. Can we talk about that?
Well, the lyrics are pretty much what it was. But the crazy thing about that now, you talk to her about that now, she's like, oh my God, come on.
Probably hate it.
Right, yeah.
I was in such a place then. I was just, you know, now it's much more.
Whole face?
Yeah, she's much more. I think just sexuality, she wanted to.
Sexually free state?
She wanted sexually free. You know, you saw the album cover. She was.
But she still did it in a classy way. It wasn't like undigestible. It wasn't
she stayed true to herself, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely stayed true to herself. And she's a wonderful person, so far from the music, you know, the beautiful part of the music she's a part of. But that part, I guess, you know, she knows she has fans. She knows they love her. And I guess she wanted to be close to them with a album like All For You. I guess All For You.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. So you have a crazy catalog at this point. You just making music for everybody, real diverse. And then at one point you say, you know what, I'm going to look into selling my catalog, right? And you said you were kind of...
I'm willing to bet money that he didn't say I'm looking.
Oh, wow.
I'm willing to bet money that they came and found you.
We're in the season of it.
These people are...
There are people, I get a call once a week from a different company.
The audacity.
Like, we're buying catalog.
Yeah.
They're not, it's not...
It's like the trend now, though. But
I can tell you why.
Okay, you wouldn't do that first?
I can tell you why it's a trend. Because if buying a catalog is like, so you got to look at it from an investor standpoint. If somebody's making you 10% of your money on the money you made, that's a great investment, right? Yeah. So you got to look at it from the standpoint, if I'm buying your catalog, they're placing retirement funds in that. Like, so it's like, where can I put your retirement fund that I know is going to give us a return over when it's time for you to retire, that you can do it. And music is like, if every artist that's on right now was gone, there would still be music being made, and there would still be music being listened to. And as long as that's happening, there's money being made. Yep. As long as there's money being made, there's money being spent.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how did the process go, and what did you learn throughout this process? What was shocking for you?
That you really don't own this music. That, you know, you're getting a piece, but you're not getting a piece of what you're really worth. You know what I'm saying? And it's a ill mirror, because yes, you're doing a deal for a catalog and you're doing a deal for a good number. Mine was a little number. It was a cute little number. But at the same time, what is it really worth? You'll never know. You know what I'm saying? You'll never know what it's really worth. So you're playing the game again. You know what I'm saying? But you're looking at the contracts that you were in for so many years, and it's nobody's fault. Everybody's just, it's business. Business, never personal. You know what I'm saying? So from managers to lawyers, from representatives to execs to A&Rs to people that sign the albums to people that give you the % off the album, that give you the little penny off the album for what the penny they're chopping down for streaming and all of that type of stuff. You're in the game. You know what I'm saying? So either stay in, play, or get out when you can. You know what I'm saying? So I took it at that. And it took a lot of convincing for me to do that.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Because it's your babies, you sell.
Yeah, because, the Rockwidler.
That sounds so hard. Those are babies you selling.
Yeah, So I didn't give everything away, but I there were some things that I did allow to be purchased. And but just the fact of you're in the game. It's a game. Come on, like streaming. They're chopping our penny up. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
And you don't know where. I remember one time they said Drake outsold the Beatles. The only way you're going to say that Drake outsold the Beatles, and this is my own knowledge, is if you're counting every stream like an actual sale. So if that's the case, then if he's outsold the Beatles, each stream is actually counted as a sale. Where's the other money? There's politics for it, but you're playing the game. You know what I'm saying? What you going to do? Stop whatever's coming in? You know what I'm saying? So you playing the game. And at the end of it, once I realized that I was doing a deal of such, I realized that, damn, I'm getting out the game, but it was a game. It was a game. Did I really own everything? What they was paying me, was it really what I really deserved? You know what I'm saying? Because who's to say that the deal I did was a good deal? You're going to always say that. You're going to always say that if you're my age, if you're thinking of how the music industry is. You're going to always say, damn, was it a good deal? Did I do it at the right time? Was it worth more? Like, you know what I'm saying? But the key is to be very strategic with what you built off the next, what that was, because just think, that was still valuable after 30 years. It was still that available. That it was still that. What do you call it? It was still
worth something.
It's still valuable.
It was still valuable. Yeah. And that's the thing that kind of made me feel like, oh wow, because I wasn't selling nothing recent it was stuff that I did 30 years ago that still had that stuff to it. So it was a lot of convincing, and then I ended up doing it. And even to this day, I wake up in the middle of the night at 444. And I say to myself, because I was talking to somebody about 444 earlier. I wake up at 444 and I'm like, damn, did I do that right? Did I do that right? So that's going to be something that haunts me for the rest of my life. But I do take what was given to me to reinvest, do other things.
I was going to add, don't sell your catalog if you don't have a plan to do with the money. Yeah. Because you're selling your life's work. So you better make sure you have your life's plan in your minds, what you're going to do. Yes. So that way you can survive, because that money gone.
That's it. That's
the end of it. So that's really good. So one of the things that I think like that you don't get enough credit for is like, even though like as a producer, you made a really dope website that kind of led other producers to even be here today.
You was on the front line of giving producers an opportunity.
Yeah, me and SoundClick. SoundClick had a site where they was doing a lease beat program. Me and Fat Fingers, Alan Brown.
I love these names.
And he actually came to me with it. He came to me with the idea of wanting to do lease beats at a time that Napster and everything was pirating music. And he just thought, with the iTunes situation and everything being so stripped down to the 99 cent and everything, what if producers solicited their music similar to what the internet was actually doing with music? You know what I'm saying? But the lease beat program was different because you're actually loaning somebody a song, but it's not their song.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Literally leasing a beat.
Yeah. So he came to me. He was just like, "Yo, man, you ever thought about that?" I was like, "I can't do that. Rockwidler, you stupid. I can't do that. Like leasing a beat. I'm not, But he saw something that was way ahead of it. He was a computer dude. He's way ahead of it. So he said, "All right, give me 20 beats that you're not using."
Here
I
you
got
go.
those.
Right.
Everybody got those.
Throwaways.
Got those. He went, he put them up on the thing, and I looked at the back of the sauce. It says, Rock lease beats for $20, $10. And I said, I'm done. I said, I'm fucked. I'm screwed.
$20.
I said, I'm screwed. Thinking about everybody, Jay-Z.
Jay-Z looking at this like,
I'm like, oh, dude.
Selling beats for $20.
He came home. He came to me. He was like, hold that.
Brick.
what was
I
that?
said,
A brick of bread. Right?
at a time that mixtapes,
Yeah.
don't get no money for mixtapes.
Yeah.
The industry has shut down. Nobody
Yeah.
knew what the hell was going with Napster.
Yeah.
Here I am with a knot of money. So I'm looking at the back of the machine. I'm looking at the back of the magazine. I'm still thinking I'm on crack, but I got crack money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So then here's what happens. What happens is that I see Irv Gotti in a club one night. And Irv Gotti says, yo, Rock, when I first saw you in the back of the magazine, he said, I thought you was on crack. He said, but then I thought about it. If you give 100,000 people a $10 beat that's not theirs, that's $1 million. I looked at him like, for real? Because I didn't know.
Right.
I'm still
Trying to figure
not
out how's this
understanding
happening,
what
right.
the hell was happening. I was like, you're right. That's true. You know? So now everybody's commenting. Oh, Rock changes. Why did he do this? Boom, 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 boom. Comment thread crazy. So I said, you know what? At the end of the day, I'll battle all these different producers and bust their ass because I don't even want to go through this shit. And my boy said, yo, that's what we'll do. We'll make a site called rockbattle.com where producers can actually battle. We create rockbattle.com, but of course, back then, producers weren't prominent. So we couldn't get ad space for it. We couldn't get no promotions for it. Logic wasn't doing commercials. Reasons wasn't doing commercials. No brand of production was doing actual commercials showcasing the producers. So we were at an early time in 2004 with this, right?
Head of the wave.
Yeah, we were ahead of a wave. But then we were about to sell it. People didn't want to buy it because they saw no need for it. If you can't get ad space, there's no reason to buy it. But then there was a guy named Jack, and he was from this site called jack9.com. He had a popular website. And he looked at there was a thing with websites where they had like what's the hottest website, what's not the hottest website. It was like number 84. It was the 84, like really a low number. But there's a thing called the attic space that they was in the thing. And he said, I said I can't sell it. I said if I can't do ads for this, there's no reason to buy it. So then he said, but hold on. Why is your attic space 82%? And I said, what the hell is that? He said, your attic space is not supposed to be 82% and you're down at the bottom of this. He said, attic space is like up with that means nobody's logging off. These producers weren't logging off. They were staying there like these little kids was there doing beats in the forums, in the battles and everything. The lease beat thing started working. Why? Because at that point, there was a lot of producers that were getting ganked by dudes using their beats and putting them on mixtapes and not paying them.
Yes.
We were actually providing a service where you were taking this beat and most producers wasn't just staying at $10, $20. They were going up $100. So $100. You got producers now making $5,000 a month, $6,000 a month on a beat that they would have got ganked on had Jeezy or one of them took it. Not say Jeezy because Jeezy wasn't ripping nobody off, but an artist of that caliber was taking their beats off websites and just using it and not paying them at all. We're providing a service to where you can use the beat, but now there's a platform to where you can download this beat from this site. We detect how it's being used, and then you get paid. We had a lot of producers, Cafino, Young Fire, Rod Charm, that's with the Stereotypes right now. All of these people that we had burped. Now, the crazy thing about that was when I saw all the things that was going on the site, I said, yo, why don't we create our own iTunes for these producers? Because we got 1 million producers. They got artists as well. So why don't we create our own joint? So we created a joint called rockmp3.com, but still the fact that we couldn't get no people, it was above the curve. Now you got Spotify, you got Tidal, you got all of these different type of places. But we was providing that service for the independent people that was on our site. So we were before the game. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people don't know that about me. A lot of producers know about Rock Battle.
I know about
know.
it. I remember the ad in the back of the source. And I remember thinking, what the fuck
Yeah.
is he doing? And then I remember thinking like, hold on, that's kind of smart because you still own them. You're not selling them. You're just saying, and it's really giving your, on a bigger scale, it's giving your song 100,000 tries to be a hit.
Yeah.
And if it hits, I get paid going forward, period. So I don't even care.
There's a lot more potential artists than the actual artist. So if the potential artists have a site that they can actually get high quality music from to be what they want to perform and to be what they want to be, you now have a community. It's like a middle class community of artists that's ready to
pay $20,
$30 for a least beat. You know what I'm saying? You know. And you know it did it, but now we have a site called buybeats.com, me and Fat Fingers, and we provide that service still. And I think with the new thing that I'm doing with the producers now, I'm giving them a chance to be at the forefront. But what I do want to teach these new producers: read your contracts.
Yes.
Know your business.
What should they be looking for in the contracts?
They should be looking for, in the music business, they should be looking for the business first. And then letting the music be the vibe, but the business, let them know, because there's a lot of producers that are coming now that they want to do the same thing that we did for our careers. And they think it's just a fly-by-night thing. And they're going to get these papers thrown at them. They're getting different papers because, our contracts didn't have streaming in it. So how do you negotiate what we're owed if streaming wasn't on our contracts, not even seen to be something for our contracts? What paragraph is taking care of streaming?
Yeah.
And then in that paragraph, with 4 points full rate, what are these kids gonna know about 4 points full rate?
Right.
They're not gonna know about that. They need to know about that. So every goon that's under me that's talented, I'm gonna teach them like, yo, you have to know that business.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to know the business accountant is not the financial advisor.
I want to ask you a question.
That lesson is a
Before we
fucked up lesson.
Before we get to put your money, if you knowing what you know now, being a successful producer, if there was young producers watching this and they were trying to get on, what would you suggest to them if you were in a position trying to come up now?
I would suggest to them right now, with my knowledge of what we know from before, is get some loyal people around you. And it's not going to be easy because you got to get jerked. You got to get something taken from you. You got to, it just happens. I have a story about a producer that's huge right now. He's like a little brother of mine. He's huge. He's huge right now. And I'm going to tell a story like this. When he went to LA, I told him, I said, listen, I need you to tell everybody that you work with that Rockwidler, you know Rockwidler. You tell them no. You're going out to that barren land. They're gonna have their claws on you. Yep. So, of course, he didn't do that. He'll laugh at this interview when he says it, but I'm not going to tell what happened. But he ends up getting a placement for one of the biggest movies, one of the biggest songs on the movie. He tells me this. I'm like, oh man, that's crazy. That's crazy. Me and my wife in the movie theater, the song comes on. I'm like, that's his song right there. She said, why? I said, because the song sounds just like him. Mm-hmm. Can't tell you what song it was, can't tell you who it was, can't do it. So I call him that night and I'm just like, yo, I heard the song. He's like, what do you mean? I said, I heard the song. He says, what's the song? I play the song. He's like, oh, come on, man. I said, no, this is the song, right? No, he went out there. He got with a manager. The manager had his claws on him. When it came time to where he didn't want to work with that manager no more, the manager took the song, rearranged it, kept his tone on it, and made it one of the biggest songs of that time. No, I think it's still one of the biggest songs ever. I can't say the song.
I'm trying to guess. That's what
No, you won't be able to guess
okay.
this.
I wasn't gonna say
I'm
it.
gonna tell y'all. I'm gonna tell y'all when it's over.
All right, so we got.
But for that one little mistake,
Mm-hmm.
because had he called me, I would have put a wolf on. I would have put a wolf in his studio. You know what I'm saying? Not a wolf.
Not a-
Not a wolf, but just somebody to say, okay, I'm here to make sure
need that.
no bullshit goes on. And whatever happens to where he's working in the studio, whatever he does, we're going to put paperwork together to know that anything he does in the studio working with you, that we're going to, like, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That one little paperwork would have protected him because the likeness of that song being so big at the end of that movie would have protected him. You know what I'm saying? And I would have put a wolf in that room. A wolf that would have got on the phone and said, Rock wants to speak to you.
Yeah.
Oh, hello. Yeah, what's up? That's my little brother right there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Boom, boom, boom. Don't let it go wrong one way or the other way because the red pill is fucked up and the blue pill is fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Because then the wolves will come in the room. Because you dealing with this little boy's life right here. I just sent him to L.A. alone. You know what I'm saying? He wants to go, but I let him go. But if you're on the phone with me, you better understand that
He's still with me.
there's wolves outside.
Yes.
There's wolves inside, paperwork, but there's wolves outside. You know what I'm saying? You know?
Wolves.
Okay. So that's the thing I just want to teach them to, you know, you coming up in this game and, you know, just know what it is. You know what I'm saying? Because a manager's you can't manage nobody unless you got a 6-month plan of what you're going to do. Who you know? Do you know these playlists? Do you know these playlist people? Because that's the first and foremost. You got to know how to get these songs that these people want to do. You got to know where to get these songs. Don't come in there saying you the manager just because you bought him lunch.
Right.
Yeah.
You ain't his manager.
Or you
know
took
what
him
I'm
in a room, and now because
Yeah.
you took him in a room, it's yours.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, come
like
on. Do you know Ray Daniels? Oh, I heard of him. You ain't a manager.
Right.
Yeah.
You're supposed to know who he is.
Right.
Exactly.
You said you're supposed to damn near call him when I ask you who he is, because that's the
Exactly.
world we live in right now.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's what that is. I just want to teach them
advice.
that.
So we have this part of the show called "Put Your Money Where Your Mouth Is."
Oh, shit.
It's fun.
Okay.
Where we give you 3 options.
He's gonna tell the truth. Like this is gonna be
We're,
good.
we're, we all, Tamira and I both,
Yeah, you
Tamira and I both work for Rockwidler Records, right? You are the CEO. We are your team. And we're going to give you 3 names, and you have to tell us who we're signing, who we're going to put into development, and who we're sending home. We're dropping.
Oh, crap.
Uh-oh.
Oh, wow.
But
Okay. All right.
if you don't choose, like, instead of taking a shot or smoking, what we do is we ask that you make a $20 donation to a nonprofit called the Creative Academy for young producers like yourself, and nobody loses. So it's going to be a few questions.
What a collection plate.
Yeah.
That's a collection plate. Y'all
I didn't even look
preaching
at a
now.
collection play. That's dope, by
I
the way.
like it. I'm
But
gonna get a physical.
You ain't even going to
electric
save me first? You
No.
ain't even going to save
No.
me?
You can save
You done
yourself.
been saved.
It's like you can save yourself. You can save yourself and say,
come to Jesus, come to Jesus right now.
you
with
can
you.
save yourself by just saying,
Won't he do it?
them kids gonna be eating pizza tomorrow because of me.
He on the pocket. Oh.
That's what they save you first, and then they say, all right,
Okay,
the collector,
right.
you know, we don't do this. We can't do this by
Right out,
ourselves,
yep.
so reach deep into your pockets. We
the
just
deep.
saved you. Reach deep in your, and, you know, all right.
So
I'm
you
trying to
ready?
distract
I'm
us.
ready.
All right, cool.
What we gonna start with? The
Missy Elliott,
Ooh.
Redman, and Busta Rhymes. You have to sign somebody. Tamira and I are waiting to see get the marching orders of who we signing, who we developing, and who we dropping. Or the kids just get 20. You know, the kids get to eat pizza tomorrow on
could sign and
Uncle
drop
Rottweiler.
Somebody's going to eat some serious Johnny's pizza.
We got $20 for the kids. $20 for the kids.
Because
Okay,
I'm
cool.
not dropping nobody from that kid.
Okay, so here's another one. All right, Nas, 50 Cent, LL Cool J, all Queens.
How many pies?
No more pies.
How many
No,
pizza
he
pies?
can do pies.
I'll do pies.
$40 for the kids, guys. The kids don't lose. Uncle Rottweiler we were sending him a picture. They called Andre's kids. And you'll see the pictures eating ice cream, saying thank you to you. Don't sweat it.
Let's do it.
We got a couple more. I'm gonna make it a little harder on you.
like harder.
A rack in, they're gonna be like pizza. Come on, give me one that I gotta drop, man. Come on.
Okay, I'm gonna give you. I think this one is probably easier.
Okay.
But okay, so we got Alexa in the room listening.
You know somebody got caught on Alexa? One of my friends got caught on Alexa. Her boyfriend came home and said, Alexa, play every call that came in. And she got kicked out of her apartment.
Oh, we can't get people out.
That's just funny.
Oh,
He
Alexa.
said, Alexa, play everything that happened, something. He did something. And every call came through. Every conversation came through.
Don't get me started.
So any of y'all that's having conversations in the house, don't let your boyfriend come home and say, Alexa.
Don't try to distract us.
We
back to the record label.
We got him. I'm gonna give you. Okay, this one should be a little easier.
All right.
Hopefully.
All right.
Chris Brown, Usher, R. Kelly.
Chris Brown, Usher.
R. Kelly.
Let me explain something to you, okay? let me make this perfectly clear. I love Chris Brown.
Right.
Chris Brown is probably one of the most amazing artists there is.
Yes.
Right? I compare him to nothing. He's unmatched.
Yep.
Usher is an amazing artist.
Till a bite comes.
Amazing artist. But that damn R. Kelly made happy people. Ooh. I don't care who he peed on or whatever. Listen.
We signing kills.
Happy people.
Oh, we signing kills.
Hold on. Happy people. I believe I can fly. Come on, y'all. I'm preaching.
Ignition.
All right, Ignition. Let me tell you about Ignition. Now, Ignition, we saw the tape. I was through with him. I was like, oh, no, never. I'm no crying, everything. My boy called me. One of the dudes I called, and he said, dude, did you just hear Ignition? I said, nah. He said, nigga, when you hear Ignition, you're going to tell the judge that it wasn't him on the tape. Not only did Ignition come out, the remix came out.
The remix.
Then after the remix came out, Chocolate Factory album came out. I will never leave. I had a moment when I will never leave in L.A. I cried with somebody.
Because of that song.
I cried. All right? And then we got that, oh, like you and me making history, baby. Oh, like the 99th anniversary. All right.
I feel just like
we just put another pizza pie.
Oh, wow.
They got sodas, pizza.
I'll break him out of jail and be like, listen, if I see you with anything under 4 feet, I'm whooping your ass.
Okay, so hold on.
Go back to the studio.
So this might be easier then. I'm gonna give you one that might be easier. This one is easy for me.
Okay.
So I should be, because that one was hard.
We got how many pizza pies we got?
3. It's only $60.
I be making
okay.
okay.
Pepperoni, extra cheese, what was it?
Whatever. Jodeci.
All right.
Jodeci, Boyz II Men, Drew Hill. That feels easy to me.
Diary of a Madman? The first slide was, dog, I was having some sex with that. Lord, I was having some sex when that Diary of a Madman was coming up. Take my money.
My house,
my heart belongs to you. Oh, God, forget it. All right, they there.
We signed Jodeci. Boyz II Men and Drew Hill.
Boyz II Men. I ain't really do too much when that song was out. But hold on. What was the other one?
Are you
Drew
basing
Hill.
this off of sex?
These are the times we always think about you all the time. Morning, noon, and supper time. Get the fuck out of here. Boyz II Men gotta go.
Whoa! I love it. So we signed to Jodeci.
We
We developing Drew Hill.
To the end of the road.
Drew Hill. And
can I be honest with you? He actually kind
To
of.
the end of the road.
No, that was
listen. He went to where he went
no,
to.
there was nothing
Tamira,
romantic about
answer?
End of the Road.
No, I do not.
End of the
I
Road
would not
was over.
It was over. That was it. That
What
was
the
the
fuck?
end of
What
the
am I
road.
play that for? I'm playing Fiendin'. I'm playing Let's Be. My daughter was made on Let's Be Alone. I made my daughter on that song. No, it's serious.
No, it's based off of Will Tamira.
But
We work for Rockwidler Records. We are
that,
signing.
baby.
Boyz II Men is not going to be on our
about to
label.
take you to
And
LA.
we're going to send Jodeci out, and we're going to develop Drew Hill, and we're going to make Cisco knock down his hair.
Don't let me play that shit. I made my daughter off that song.
Let us do it.
Can you put that on a t-shirt?
Hold on.
Alone, I made my daughter off Alone. She don't like to hear the song. She hates the record. I was like, we made you off that record.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a little traumatic.
Boys to Men was just too
Clean.
I'm sorry.
They was begging
Baby, I
someone.
tried. I feel pain too. Get the fuck out of here. So you dropped. I feel pain too. Take your clothes on the floor, and I'm gonna take my clothes off. I never took my clothes off like that. I never took all of them off.
He probably have sex with his socks
Riding
on.
in the car in the Benz, like
Hey,
it's popping right
He
there.
is
Yeah,
real.
right.
That's some real
When
producer
did you
shit.
ever played that and it got to take your clothes? And
Oh,
I'm gonna
no,
take my
hold on. Watch this.
clothes
Watch this.
off.
Rottweiler. Let's do this. Tamira, you are the guy. You guys about to have a good time. He plays Boys to Men, I'll Make Love to You. What are you thinking?
I can't wait for him to drop me off so I can go see this nigga that's playing Jordan. Look. Be there in a minute. This nigga's emotional.
That is the
Be there in a
greatest answer ever.
emotional.
Because you know you're going to call your
Look,
friend and be like, girl,
Look,
this motherfucker
I'll make
played
love to you. This nigga
when
like,
you
put
want
that
me
Jordan
to.
Right.
And I'll
as
hold
soon
you
as I
tight
can.
all through the night.
He is rolling his eyes. He's like, get that shit out of here.
Come
So
on.
y'all ain't have no sex to Boys to Men growing up? None. Not no.
No,
nothing.
it was
No
New
drop.
Edition. Girl, I'm leaving you again. And I thought I took that. We did it to that. Bobby Brown, Roni.
Definitely.
Oh, we learned on Roni. Piece of My Love, we learned on Piece of My
What, Guy?
Love. I had a pair of boxer shorts that I wore for that moment in
Like
high
now?
school.
Jodeci?
I used to wear it. I did. I had my boxes.
Wait, what's the
from
first
Foot
song
Locker.
that I had sex
My
to
Foot
now?
Locker
'Cause
boxer.
now I'm interested.
I don't know, I
You don't
remember.
know? I felt no, Ray. You definitely remember.
My first real piece. My piece.
Oh, I
Piece
know.
of My Love.
I know what it was. I know what it
That's a
was.
good one.
The
Piece of
first
My
song
Love.
I remember having sex to. Oh my God. Tank Slowly.
Wow. I don't even remember that. I don't even know what that
Tank
record
has a
is.
song called Slowly. Making love slow. That shit was hard.
Yeah.
I was like 18.
Right.
I was getting, had a good
Mine was Piece of My Love. Piece of My Love, Barbette from Long
took me to an
Island.
amazing place.
And I walked to her crib from the train
Ray is
station.
not here
I
no
walked to
more.
her house from the train station, knowing I was going to get it.
playing but
Oh, no, I walked to her house from the movie theater. That was a long-ass walk, too. That was a long walk. For real.
But you
And I-
knew though on the wall.
Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. She touched me. I looked up at her. It was all like, it was really some dope shit. You know what I'm
He's having a
saying?
moment. I'm not hanging out
Right?
with her no more.
this is the best put your money where your
Thought
mouth
she
is
was
answer
pregnant,
ever.
although I just never, like really didn't do anything. But I just thought I was gonna marry her and we were gonna be like 80 years old together.
Amen.
I
That's
saw everything. I saw it
what
all.
they
I
do.
saw everything.
you saw the future. You
Yeah,
knew.
I did. I got back on that bus. I was like this. Had my little Sony Walkman. It was like boom, 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 boom.
Boom, boom.
All I saw was her.
Boom.
All I saw was
Boom,
her.
boom, boom. Then in my bed. Boom, 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 boom.
What?
Yeah, come on, your first real good piece.
What?
Come on, man.
Come on, you can't tell me that's some
sorry.
real shit.
Okay,
Oh,
all right.
we got
Back
a
again. I
couple
got
more.
distracted. Sorry.
We got a couple more. All right, I'm gonna give you another R&B one.
Mm-hmm.
Neo, Trey Songz. No, fuck that. That's too easy. Janet Jackson, Mariah Carey, Mary J. Blige. This one feels easy to me, by the way.
Why? I'm a mom.
Mary gotta go. No. Mariah gotta go.
Oh, okay, cool.
All right, so
Mary.
y'all getting no All I Want for Christmas money. How about
Mary.
that? Y'all don't
Mary.
get no All I Want
Mary.
for Christmas money. How about that?
Mary. I never wanna live without you, babe. I wanna be your lady. Oh Jesus, hold on. What's the other one?
Man, Mary J. Blige has a record called
No.
Mary's
Who's the
Joint-
other artist?
Janet.
Janet. Come on. Janet
Janet.
is my whole bottom part of my body.
Other half.
That's my life. Like
Right.
learning about life and whatever you can do with whatever you got down there.
So you telling this to me? So we dropping.
We dropping Mariah
Okay, cool.
and we working on Mary and we signed Janet.
I would have been. That mine was a little
Always
closer.
be my baby. Everything is gone.
Mariah.
That was beautiful stuff.
He's a culture guy. I feel like he's a culture guy
Yeah,
like me.
when
Like,
I-
I
when
want
I-
shit that stick with.
When
All
I
I Want for
separated those
Christmas,
songs,
y'all
been
not
so
getting All
good.
I Want for Christmas
Always
money.
be my baby. Those are separation records. But I'm talking about the songs. Like Mary J. Blige, I know that you're just a man, but you're all the man I need. Like, oh,
Real
on,
Love,
man.
you know you was dancing.
Yeah.
No, listen, Marry, that whole
Sweet Thing.
That was a thing. Ooh.
Yeah, come on.
Not
Sweet
Gonna
Thing.
Cry.
I would have gave the $20, honestly. That's what I would have
Nah, Mariah gotta go. Although Mariah's a very talented.
Listen,
and she's
it's
one of the
no
best
song
singers.
Mariah Carey has in her catalog that if you play will make people feel the way it's I'm Going Down.
Yeah.
Mary's version makes you feel.
Yeah. Oh, my life. When you look at my life and see what I see.
What?
Come on.
What?
Lord, I used to play that song.
Tamira.
I didn't exist when I was driving. I thought I was driving to heaven.
Emancipation of Mimi.
Emancipation of Mimi.
Yes, when We Belong Together does that to people.
No, it doesn't.
You're emotional.
The whole room sings We Belong Together.
No, they don't.
Who doesn't sing We Belong Together when it comes on?
Everybody sings I'm Going Down.
Sings I'm Going Down.
How about this? When it goes, hold on, Rolla, when it goes, boom, boom, boom,
dum, 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 dum.
Time on my hand. Motherfuckers is like, fuck
I lost
everything
my
else.
voice in Red Martini last night singing that. So y'all right. Absolutely.
What? Yeah.
You got it. I was like, bro, you got it.
I'll give them that one.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna give him a couple more real quick. I'm gonna give him a couple more, and then we're gonna get through this. All right, cool. All right, I'm gonna bring it. I'm gonna make it a little bit more contemporary, a little bit more up to date. Okay, J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, Travis Scott.
I don't really listen to them, but I'll give a pizza because I like all of them.
Good, we
So I'll
go.
do a
Pizza.
Okay, we got $80 for the kids, guys. All right, I'm gonna give you the last one, and this one to me
All
is
right now. Make it good.
the hardest one. Cause I change my answer every time I say it. No, I'm gonna give you two more. One more. Okay, cool. Big pun. Pac.
That's another pizza.
It's another pizza. He ain't even think about it.
More pizza for the kids, guys. We got $100 for the kids. Listen, nobody loses on this show. The kids are gonna win.
Pac, I cried. Oh, come on. Pac, I cried. Pun, I work with. He's amazing and one of the most amazing lyricists ever. And then, come on. Who the fuck is this?
Pays me a fuck. All right, last one. Jay-Z, Kanye West, Drake.
Pizza.
Pizza.
$120 for the kids.
He even didn't want to hit us.
Hey, look, here, Jay-Z. I want to do it.
Yeah, I want to do it.
All right.
Hold on. So before we get to credit check, and then wrap up, I gotta ask you a question. Cause I wanted to notice myself. Can you give me your top 5 favorite producers, not including yourself?
Ooh.
And then I would also like to hear your top 5 rappers, dead or alive.
I don't think 5 is enough. 5 is enough because I have more than that. But I would have to say Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis, Quincy Jones,
Are these in order?
No.
Okay.
It's got to be in order.
Wow. That's why I say 5 is not enough.
Producers?
Pharrell, Timbaland.
Boom.
Damn, I gotta Scott Storch.
Okay. Good list.
I thought you were
That's
going to
a
say Dre,
solid
by
list.
the way, but you
I
said
thought
Scott
Dre
Storch. I'll
too.
take Scott Storch.
Dre is up there too.
I was going to say Primo. I just thought you was going to go.
I have them. They are, but I don't think 5 is enough. 5 is cheating.
Now, can you give me a top 5 dead or alive rappers?
Nas.
Number 1?
Number 1. Nas. Eminem. Eminem. Hi, kids. Do you like violence? You want me to stick 9-inch nails through each one of my eyelids? Take sin and do exactly like I like. Come on.
Eminem is a dope ass rapper.
It's the beginning of oh wait, you can. He didn't just say what I think he did he? Dr. Dre's dead. No, Dr. Dre's dead. He's locked in my basement. Come on, nah.
So Nas M.
Nas M. I'm sitting in my crib dreaming about real jets and coops, the way salt shoops, and how to sell records like Snoop. Ooh, I'm interrupted by the doorbell. To the floor. Who the hell is this? I uncock quick, cock my shit. Stop the dogs from barking. Biggie's, damn Biggie, shit.
Ill.
God.
So hold on. So we got Big Nas M.
Oh man, hold on. He said, hold on, Long. She's still dropping. Remember all the crickets up in Hill, up in Brownsville, that you rolled dice with, smoke blunts, got nice with. Yeah, my nigga Fame from the project. Nah, that's my nigga. Nah. I didn't say them. They schooled me to some people that you knew from back when you was clocking minor figures. Now they heard you blowing up like nitro, and they want to stick a knife through the windpipe slow. Slow. Thank Fame for warning me, because now I'm warning you. I got the Glock, nigga. Tell me what you want to do. Damn. Niggas want to stick me for more paper. They heard about the Rolexes and the Lexus. There's license plates out of state. They heard about the pounds you got down in Georgetown. And they heard you got half of Virginia locked down. They even heard about the crib you brought your moms down in Florida, the 5th corridor. Call the coroner.
It's going to be a lot of slow
There's going to be a lot of slow singing and flower bringing.
Once my burger mom
Okay, then. All right. Okay. I got my fourth one.
Who?
Okay.
I got a hustler spirit, nigga,
Period.
Oh. My Yankee hat. Peep the way I wear it.
Already said he ain't have home. Like, where is he at?
Walk like a ball player. No matter where you go, you are who you are, player. And you can try to change, but that's just the top layer. Nigga, you was who you was before you got here. I use that to judge people. People that I fuck with.
Yeah.
If you got those crates about there and you on the wrong side of the fence when I recite that line, I'm not fucking with you.
I can't lie to you. I'm
serious. If you don't got that,
if you.
So Nas, J, M, Big. Fifth. Who's the fifth?
Lil Wayne.
I fuck with you.
That's a good. That is a really good top 5.
That motherfucker's
like
ill.
Real G's move in silence like lasagna.
When Jay did 7 straight summers, critics might not admit it, but nobody in rap did it quite like I did it. You done it, I done it before. Got mad at it, don't want it no more. Like it's like at that moment, it's like that. To me, that was the moment where it was like he's the greatest ever. You can't. To me, like it was like he's like nobody did like bro. He's the man. All right, cool. Sorry. By the way, love both lists. Great top 5. That was actually respectable.
Yeah, that was
Eminem
really
could never be in my top 10.
And people who I would never put in the list because they're that dope. Redman, Method Man, I wouldn't put in a list because to me they're just so dope. They're just
on their own.
So dope. So I got people that are just so dope that I wouldn't even put in the list.
So here's the last thing. So we do this thing called credit check, right? Where
there was more rappers, but
we do this thing called credit check where we give our guests an opportunity to just shout out. We don't want to give flowers. Let's give somebody some credit, right? Because they could leverage that. They could be like, look, guys, look what Rockwidler said I did. Just 2 or 3 unsung heroes in your story that you ran across that played a role in you getting here.
Pete Rock. He inspired me to produce. Teddy Riley.
Understand that one.
Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis.
Love that.
That's it. I mean, because those are people that I
but I love it.
Yeah, those people are like they were weird when it came down to what part they played in my career. I remember one time Teddy Riley was washing 3 Benzes, 1 big MPV, and like 4 Acura NX6s. And I remember I went outside and he was washing them, and I said, "Yo, man," I said, "this is amazing that all this had you." And he said, "Always remember, I didn't do this if I didn't work the way I did." And I took that.
Oh, that stuck with you. I love that.
Yeah.
So Tamir asked the last question, and Tamir, I think we should explain what God mean in this question so people know, because
definitely.
It don't feel random.
This is the God Show. So the acronym for the God Show is the GOATs and Underdog. So I'm gonna ask you: do you consider yourself a GOAT or underdog?
A GOAT or underdog?
Are you a GOAT or underdog?
Am I a GOAT or underdog? Wow. You know why? Because an underdog is a person that feels like he's not been, he hasn't, he's the behind the scenes, but I don't feel that way like I used to when I was young. I feel grateful about my journey, what I've been through. GOAT, I have much more producers that I respect to be the GOAT. I don't think I'm the GOAT or the underdog.
Well, I think you should take underdog only because your name is Rockwidler. That's a dog.
Yeah, I mean, underdog. But y'all are underdog.
Well, you're definitely a GOAT producer, though.
I really stopped feeling myself at the time when I seen what God did for me by sustaining me. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of the things that happened in my life wasn't just me. It was my family. It was my mom's. It was the prayers. It was church. It was me not going too far out. You know what I'm saying? I partied. I did drugs. I've had the great. I probably think I'm not just playing I'm not just feeling myself. I'm saying this from a God degree. I've had the best sex that I've ever had in my life. I've been with the most beautifulest women that I've ever been in my life because it comes with the territory. It comes with it. It comes with it. It wasn't as fulfilling as my knowledge of myself and God in my life. Because it got to a point where I had to. No, seriously. I remember being in a big house that I bought, 5-bedroom, 2.5 bath, pool in the back. I had a motorcycle. I had 2 trucks. I had a Benz and everything. And I remember calling my mother saying something's wrong because I feel like there's more to this. And my mother said, why don't you pray? I said, I'm sick of praying because I feel like what I'm feeling inside of me, it's not God's fault. It's something that I need to make this all make sense. And I prayed that it will all be taken from me. And it did. And it got taken from me. And I'm going to tell you the story. And I was actually in my man's house watching him because he had just moved from Atlantic City. He was an aspiring artist. And I remember everything had gone. I told God I want all of it gone because I had my friends, I had friends that I didn't understand. You have people in your life that they could be your friends. They're not jealous of you. They're mad that they're not you.
Yes.
100%.
And you have to deal with the crowd of who feels what way about what you've become. And I didn't feel comfortable in my first level of success because I was the only successful one. You know what I'm saying? And in my family, I was the only successful one. So here I am trying to handle friends and family. And I got this big house and I got these cars and all I know is I'm smoking weed. The weed is not bad for me, but it's making me naive. It's making me passive. And the drugs is making me just enjoy this moment because there's nothing else to enjoy. You know what I'm saying? I got a daughter, I got a son. I don't know how to be a father because I'm too high and I'm too everything. So everything was fucked up. So I prayed for everything to go. So everything went, right? So I remember being at my man's house because I was living with him because he had just moved from Atlantic City. He was an Italian dude, and I didn't want nobody to rob his house, so I stayed with him. And he treated me like royalty, but I remember I had a godmother. I had a godmother that came when my brother died. My brother died, I had a godmother that I prayed for. I said, Lord, send me somebody that could tell me about my life that I know it's you because I don't know them. 2 weeks later, there was a lady at my mother's house, and her name was Prophet King, and she's a blind lady. And this lady right now could tell you about the clothes that you're wearing on your body right now. She's blind, right? So she was with me my whole life. So at that moment that I was staying at my boy's house, she said, your spirit is in turmoil and I need you. This is when my mother had left the basement apartment with the church and she got a storefront church. It was on Jamaica Avenue. And my godmother told me, she said, now this is crazy. She said, your spirit is in turmoil. She said, here's what I want you to do. I want you, after you finish playing for your mother's church in the storefront, she said, I need you to leave that church and walk down the street to a church called New Life Chapel with Reverend Cook. And she said, I want you to stand there with him. I want you to sit in that service because he has a word for you. I've never been to that church in my life. Never been to that church in my life. So here I am. I get up that morning. I go play for my mother's church. After I finish playing, my mother starts doing announcements. I leave my mother's church. I walk down the street, bawling. I'm walking to a church that I've never been to before. By my godmother's orders. I walk in the church, bawling. He preaches the sermon about restoration. I'm bawling, right? I'm gonna be short. So now he's prophesying to people. He stands a person up back there, he prophesies to them. I said, okay, well, maybe I have to come to this church service before he picks me out. But I'm still got my head down, bawling. He prays for another person. Then all of a sudden he looks in the back. He says, sir, could you stand up, please? Everything's drenched. I need a shower. I'm done. I get up. I'm like, he said, you know there's times when people gets a lot of things taken from them? And he says, and then it's all given back to them. He said, you changed my sermon today. He said, I had a whole nother sermon I was going to preach. He said, but when I saw you in the back, I changed my sermon. He said, that restoration sermon was for you. He said, I don't know about you, but I see a whole bunch of pianos behind you.
No way.
Pianos. Chris, he says, I don't know, you don't know me. His name is Prophet Cook, Reverend Cook. He's still with me to this day. Amazing. And then he says, but what's crazy is I see a woman behind you. And when that woman prays, she shakes heaven. People in the people was whispering. They said, they're talking about his mother. My mother wasn't there. She said, I see your mother behind you. And he said, God is about to give you everything back. Restoration.
Wow.
And God is giving me everything back.
Sure.
And I'm happy right now.
Yeah.
Now check this out. And I'm going to say this and we're done. I brought my mother 2 Sundays next to that church. You know them prayer lines? Y'all black people, y'all know the prayer lines when they reach into them and hit them and knock them out and stuff like that. Boom, boom. My mother gets on the line. I say to myself, I'm in the back of the church now. I said, let me see if he knows that that's my mother on that line. Knocking people out. In the name of Jesus, bro, knock him out. Name of Jesus, knock him out. He got to my mother. He said, stop the music. He said, lady, I don't know you. You don't know me. He said, but I see you. I see you. He says, I see you. He says, who do you know in this church? She said, that's my son in the back. So I say all of that to say that I had another encounter to make me feel great.
Yeah.
So the GOAT or the underdog thing is something that I didn't need to feel like I was the underdog, and I needed to feel like I was the GOAT. Because my God thing is the blessing in what's happening. So I feel blessed in that.
Amen. I love
church.
that. Sure did.
Hey, man,
I had to do that. I had to do that without. I was about to get the box. It was happening.
That's good. That's good.
But when you have that feeling and you see your family and you see your daughter and you, that's different.
Yep. Well,
Let the people know where they can find you, your social medias, what projects you're working on, all that good stuff.
You can find me on Instagram, Rockwidler Music. I have a little fun up there. You could go on Facebook, and but that's not for y'all. That's for my family. I found my sister. I found out I had a sister and all that type of stuff. Facebook connects you to your family.
Yeah.
A lot of family members. But you can catch me on Instagram. Catch me on Instagram, bobbees.com for the producers. You can check me on there. And like I said before, it's family first and everything. God, family first, and I'm just happy about it.
and on that note, this is the God Show, and we are out.
Let's make sure you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on all
Make sure you
social
subscribe
media.
on YouTube. Subscribe, comment.
Like,
share, all that good stuff.
I got 5 YouTube channels that I tried to start and then couldn't finish them. So if anybody knows how to perfect a YouTube channel for me, please, I need help. Thank you.
All right, we out, y'all.
My brother.
Thank you.